pada pengembangan teknologi dan pendidikan untuk mencetak lulusan yang siap bersaing di era digital. Yuk kita lihat. Universitas Ngudi Waluyo memiliki Fakultas Kesehatan yang didukung oleh berbagai fasilitas laboratorium untuk menunjang pembelajaran mahasiswa. Fakultas Kesehatan Universitas Ngudi Waluyo menyediakan berbagai laboratorium modern untuk memastikan mahasiswa mendapatkan pengalaman belajar yang optimal dalam bidang kesehatan. Selain itu, program studi ilmu keolahragaan juga menjadi bagian dari fakultas ini yang bertujuan untuk menghasilkan tenaga profesional dalam bidang olahraga dan kesehatan yang kompeten dan siap bersaing di dunia industri olahraga.
Fakultas Ekonomi, Hukum, dan Humaniora menawarkan program studi yang membekali mahasiswa dengan keterampilan profesional dan wawasan global.
Universitas Ngudi Waluyo memiliki visi menjadi kampus unggul, berbudaya sehat, dan bereputasi internasional. Saat ini kami mengelola 3 fakultas dan 1 program pasca sarjana. Jumlah keseluruhan program studi yang kami kelola saat ini ada 22 program studi. Dengan semangat berdikari, yaitu berbudaya sehat, berdisiplin tinggi, berkarakter unggul dan mandiri, Universitas Ngudi Waluyo siap mencetak lulusan yang tidak hanya berilmu, tapi juga berkarakter dan berkontribusi pada bangsa dan dunia. Salam unggul.
Teman-teman, yuk kuliah di Universitas Ngudi Waluyo, kampus berbudaya sehat dan bereputasi internasional.
Bukti komitmen kami dalam rangka mencetak generasi unggul yang berbudaya sehat dan memiliki daya saing global. Kami terus berinovasi dalam rangka melaksanakan tridharma perguruan tinggi, yaitu inovasi di bidang pendidikan, inovasi di bidang riset, dan tentunya tidak kalah penting adalah implementasi di bidang pengabdian kepada masyarakat.
Selamat datang di Universitas Ngudi Waluyo, sebuah institusi pendidikan tinggi yang terakreditasi baik sekali. Di sini menjadi rumah bagi ribuan mahasiswa yang berkomitmen untuk belajar dan berkembang dalam berbagai bidang.
Universitas Ngudi Waluyo memiliki 3 fakultas unggulan: Fakultas Kesehatan, Fakultas Ekonomi, Hukum, dan Humaniora, Fakultas Komputer dan Pendidikan. Kami juga menyediakan fasilitas modern untuk mendukung kegiatan belajar mengajar yang berkualitas.
Di fakultas ini, kami berfokus pada pengembangan teknologi dan pendidikan untuk mencetak lulusan yang siap bersaing di era digital. Yuk kita lihat. Universitas Ngudi Waluyo memiliki Fakultas Kesehatan yang didukung oleh berbagai fasilitas laboratorium untuk menunjang pembelajaran mahasiswa. Fakultas Kesehatan Universitas Ngudi Waluyo menyediakan berbagai laboratorium modern untuk memastikan mahasiswa mendapatkan pengalaman belajar yang optimal dalam bidang kesehatan. Selain itu, program studi ilmu keolahragaan juga menjadi bagian dari fakultas ini yang bertujuan untuk menghasilkan tenaga profesional dalam bidang olahraga dan kesehatan yang kompeten dan siap bersaing di dunia industri olahraga.
Fakultas Ekonomi, Hukum, dan Humaniora menawarkan program studi yang membekali mahasiswa dengan keterampilan profesional dan wawasan global.
Universitas UNW memiliki visi menjadi kampus unggul, berbudaya sehat, dan bereputasi internasional. Saat ini kami mengelola 3 fakultas dan 1 program pasca sarjana. Jumlah keseluruhan program studi yang kami kelola saat ini ada 22 program studi. Dengan semangat berdikari, yaitu berbudaya sehat, berdisiplin tinggi, berkarakter unggul dan mandiri, Universitas Ngudi Waluyo siap mencetak lulusan yang tidak hanya berilmu, tapi juga berkarakter dan berkontribusi pada bangsa dan dunia. Salam unggul.
Teman-teman, yuk kuliah di Universitas Ngudi Waluyo, kampus berbudaya sehat dan bereputasi internasional.
Bukti komitmen kami dalam rangka mencetak generasi unggul yang berbudaya sehat dan memiliki daya saing global. Kami terus berinovasi dalam rangka melaksanakan tridharma perguruan tinggi, yaitu inovasi di bidang pendidikan, inovasi di bidang riset, dan tentunya tidak kalah penting adalah implementasi di bidang pengabdian kepada masyarakat.
Selamat datang di Universitas Ngudi Waluyo, sebuah institusi pendidikan tinggi yang terakreditasi baik sekali. Di sini menjadi rumah bagi ribuan mahasiswa yang berkomitmen untuk belajar dan berkembang dalam berbagai bidang.
Universitas Ngudi Waluyo memiliki 3 fakultas unggulan. Fakultas Kesehatan, Fakultas Ekonomi, Hukum, dan Humaniora, Fakultas Komputer dan Pendidikan. Kami juga menyediakan fasilitas modern untuk mendukung kegiatan belajar mengajar yang berkualitas.
Di fakultas ini, kami berfokus pada pengembangan teknologi dan pendidikan untuk mencetak lulusan yang siap bersaing di era digital. Yuk kita lihat. Universitas Ngudi Waluyo memiliki Fakultas Kesehatan yang didukung oleh berbagai fasilitas laboratorium, Fakultas Kesehatan Universitas Ngudi Waluyo menyediakan berbagai laboratorium modern untuk memastikan mahasiswa mendapatkan pengalaman belajar yang optimal dalam bidang kesehatan. Selain itu, program studi ilmu keolahragaan juga menjadi bagian dari fakultas ini yang bertujuan untuk menghasilkan tenaga profesional dalam bidang olahraga dan kesehatan yang kompeten dan siap bersaing di dunia industri olahraga.
Fakultas Ekonomi, Hukum, dan Humaniora menawarkan program studi yang membekali mahasiswa dengan keterampilan profesional dan wawasan global.
Universitas Ngudi Waluyo memiliki visi menjadi kampus unggul, berbudaya sehat, dan bereputasi internasional. Saat ini kami mengelola 3 fakultas dan 1 program pasca sarjana. Jumlah keseluruhan program studi yang kami kelola saat ini ada 22 program studi. Dengan semangat berdikari, yaitu berbudaya sehat, berdisiplin tinggi, berkarakter unggul dan mandiri, Universitas Ngudi Waluyo siap mencetak lulusan yang tidak hanya berilmu, tapi juga berkarakter dan berkontribusi pada bangsa dan dunia. Salam unggul.
Teman-teman, yuk kuliah di Universitas Ngudi Waluyo, kampus berbudaya sehat dan berreputasi internasional.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Salam sehat, salam unggul, dan salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Welcome to the 4th Virtual International Conference on Economics, Law, and Humanities 2025. It is such a great honor for us to welcome all distinguished speakers, participants, and guests from various countries and institutions. This event is proudly organized by Faculty of Economics, Law, and Humanities, Universitas Ngudi Waluyo, as part of our continuous efforts to encourage cross-cultural dialogue, digital innovation, and sustainable entrepreneurship in the 21st century. Let me introduce myself. My name is Dewi Rosnita Hardiani, and I will be your master of ceremony for today's event with the theme Building Smart and Sustainable Communities in the Age of Disruption. Before we begin, let us express our gratitude to God Almighty for His blessing so that we are able to gather here today virtually but meaningfully. And now we would like to greet our honorable speakers. The invited speakers, Professor Dr. Jessica Ong Hai Liao from National Defense University of Malaysia. The second, Associate Professor Dr. Lili Susana Jamian from University Teknologi Mara, Malaysia. Third, Professor Dr. Markus Prandini, Kaleidos University of Applied Sciences, Switzerland. Fourth, Professor Elkin Gasimov from Moscow City, Samara Branch, Russia, and Professor Dr. Hassani bin Muhammad Ali, University of Kebangsaan Malaysia. And on behalf of Director Universitas Ngudi Waluyo, the Dean of the Faculty of Economic Law and Humanities, Mrs. Budiati, SPD, MPD. Ladies and gentlemen, today's program will consist of 1. Opening ceremony, 2. Welcoming speech, 3. Opening remarks and keynote speech, 4. Main session, 5. Parallel session, and 6. Closing. So now let us proceed to the opening ceremony. We will listen together the Indonesian National Anthem, Indonesia Raya, followed by the March of Universitas Ngudi Waluyo.
Studi Waluyo bersama menuntut ilmu dengan sehati sejiwa, kobarkan semangat Dharma, berakhlak mulia, rampilah cerdas berbudaya di era globalisasi. Berjuang bahu-membahu, tingkatkan derajat masyarakat. Wahai pemuda-pemudi, wujudkan profesionalitas dan kreativitas, pantang menyerah, penuh dengan dedikasi, bertakwa dan berprestasi, menjaga citra senantiasa demi tugas mulia.
Ladies and gentlemen, to begin this event, we will have the welcoming speech by the chairperson of the organizing committee event. Therefore, I would like to invite Mr. Abdul Aziz SAMM to deliver the welcoming speech.
Yes, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning and warm greeting to all distinguished guys. The Honorable Rector of Universitas Multiwaluyo, Profesor Dr. Subiantoro M. Hum, the Honorable Dean of Universitas Multiwaluyo, Budiati SPD MBT, distinguished invite speakers, Association Professor Dr. Lili Susana Jamian, Associate Professor T.S. Dr. Jessica Ong Hei Liao, Professor Dr. Markus Pratini, Professor Elsin Kasimov, and Professor Dr. Hasani bin Muhammad Ali, and all respected conference participants from various countries. First of all, let us express our deepest gratitude to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, God Almighty, for His grace and blessings, so that today we are able to gather virtually in good health to participate in the 4th Virtual International Conference on Economic Law and Humanities. On behalf of the Organizing Committee and the Faculty of Economic Law and Humanities, Universitas Multiwaluyo, I would like to extend a warm welcome and sincere appreciation to all keynote speakers, invite speakers, presenters, and participants who have taken part in this international conference. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the theme of this conference, Building Smart and Sustainable Communities in the Age of Disruption, is highly relevant to the current global situation. Rapid technological investment, digital transformation, economic dynamic, legal challenges, and social change demand strong interdisciplinary collaboration among the field of economic law and humanities. Through this conference, we hope to provide an academic forum for discussion, exchange of ideas, and the generation of innovation, out in responding to the challenges of today's technological era. This conference is designed as an academic platform for lecturers, researchers, students, and practitioners to present their research spending to strengthen the international conference research networks. We firmly believe that cross-interdisciplinary and cross-country collaboration is a key factor in building smart, inclusive, and sustainable communities. We would like to express our highest appreciation and gratitude to the keynote speakers and all invite speakers for their valuable contribution and willingness to share their expertise. Our sincere thanks also to all presenters and participants who have submitted scientific paper and actively contributed to the success for this conference. Ladies and gentlemen, we sincerely hope that this conference will not only produce high-quality academic publication, but also strengthen international cooperation, inspire future research, and provide meaningful contribution to policy development and community empowerment. Finally, I would like to express my gratitude to the organizing committee, reviewers, and all parties who have worked tirelessly to ensure the success implementation of this conference. May this conference run smoothly and bring significant benefit to all of us. Thank you for your kind attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Mr. Aziz. Through the welcoming speech, we gain insight into the background, objective, and expectation of today's program. Next, we are honored to invite Mrs. Budiati, SPD MPD, as the Dean of Faculty of Economic Law and Humanities, Universitas Ngudi Waluyo, to deliver the opening speech as well as the keynote speech on behalf of Director Universitas Ngudi Waluyo. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mrs. Budiati, SPD MPD.
Okay, thank you for the Master of Ceremony. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam sehat, salam unggul, dan salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Our distinguished keynote speakers, honorable professors and researchers, dear colleagues, students, and conference participants, ladies and gentlemen. In this occasion, I'd like to welcome all the participants of this conference. On behalf of the Rector of Universitas Ngudi Waluyo, it is my great honor and privilege as the Dean of the Faculty of Economics, Law and Humanities to deliver the opening remarks and keynote speech as the 4th International Conference on Economics, Law and Humanities with the theme Building Smart and Sustainable Communities in the Age of Disruption. I would like to warmly welcome all participants joining us from various institutions and countries. Ladies and gentlemen, we are living in the era defined by disruption, where rapid technological advancement, digital transformation, environmental challenges, economic uncertainty, and profound social change. These disruptions challenge traditional systems of governance, education, law, and economic development. However, they also open new opportunities to reimagine how communities can become smarter, more inclusive, and more sustainable. The theme of this conference is therefore highly relevant and timely. Smart and sustainable communities should not be understood merely as technologically advanced societies, but as communities that are resilient, inclusive, ethnically governed, and culturally grounded. Technology must serve humanity, not replace it. From an economic perspective, sustainable communities require inclusive growth, innovation-driven entrepreneurship, and resilience in the face of global uncertainty. Global economics and smart industries must be aligned with social equity and long-term development goals. From a legal perspective, disruption demands adaptive and forward-looking legal frameworks. Law plays a crucial role in ensuring justice, protecting human rights, regulating digital transformation, and maintaining good governance in an increasingly complex world. From a humanities perspective, we are reminded that sustainable development is ultimately about people. Cultural values, ethical principles, language, and collective identity are the foundation of strong communities. Without the humanities, innovation risks losing its human dimension. Distinguished participants, as a higher education institution, we believe that universities have a strategic role in shaping smart and sustainable communities through education, research, and community engagement. This conference serves as a vital platform for interdisciplinary dialogue, collaboration, and knowledge exchange among scholars and practitioners from economics, law, humanities, and related fields. On behalf of the Rector, I would like to express our sincere appreciation to the organizing committee in international partners, reviewers, speakers, and all contributors who have worked diligently to make this conference possible. Your commitment reflects our shared vision of advancing knowledge for the benefit of society. In closing, I hope that this conference will generate meaningful discussion, innovative ideas, and long-term collaborations that contribute not only to academic excellence but also to real solutions for global and local challenges. With that, I hereby declare that the fourth virtual international conference on economics, law, and humanities with the theme Building Smart and Sustainable Communities in the Age of Disruption officially opened. Thank you for your kind attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Bu Budi, for the inspiring keynote speech. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, before we proceed to the keynote session, we would like to take a moment to capture this special occasion. And we will now have our virtual group photo session. May I kindly request all participants to please turn on your cameras and ensure your beautiful smiles are ready. Our technical team will assist in capturing several screenshots, so please stay on screen for a few moments. Okay, Pak Hasan, please. Okay, we have quite a lot slide here, 12 slides. We're going to start with the first slide. Okay, second slide. Yes, next. Okay, finish, Pak Hasan? Yes. Okay, thank you very much, everyone, for your wonderful smiles and participation. These photos will serve as a great memory of our shared commitment to build smart and sustainable communities. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the very moment that we have been waiting for, the plenary session. And to lead the discussion for the first session, we will have Mr. Muhammad Rizky Adipratama, SPD MPD, as the moderator. Mr. Rizky is an associate professor in the field of English education, computer-assisted language learning of Universitas Ngudi Waluyo, and he is also the chief editor of Filosofika, Jurnal Bahasa, Sastra, and Budaya. And he is also the awardee of Indonesian Endowment Fund for Education Agency, or LPDP, Scholarship for Domestic Doctoral Program in Universitas Negeri Semarang. And now he's still taking his doctoral program. Okay, Pak Rizky, are you ready? Halo, Pak Rizky? Pak Rizky, can you hear me? Oh, he cannot unmute. Okay, please, Pak Hasan. Okay, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
Yes, I'm ready.
Yes,
Thank
okay.
you.
So, Pak Rizky, the time is all yours.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Hardiani. All right, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, respected speakers, coaches, and participants. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everybody. I'm Muhammad Rizky Pratama on behalf of the organizing committee. It's my great pleasure to welcome you to this virtual international conference entitled the 4th Virtual International Conference on Economics, Law, and Humanities, held by the Faculty of Economics, Law, and Humanities, Universitas Ngudi Waluyo. Thank you for joining us today and for being part of this important academic forum. Today's session is particularly special as we are honored to have with us several distinguished invited speakers who have made significant contributions to their respective fields. Their expertise and insights will greatly enrich our discussion and understanding of today's theme, building smart and sustainable communities in the age of disruption. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my honor to introduce our first invited speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Lila Susana Jamian. Right. Good morning, Dr. Lila. Can you hear me? Am I audible? Hello, good morning, Dr. Lila. Dr. Lila, can you hear me? Hello? Dr. Lila?
Can you unmute me?
All right. Yeah, Dr. Lila has the same problem with me, I think. She can't unmute.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Dr. Lila. Thank you. All right. Okay. Thank you very much for joining our international conference, Dr. Lila. Before we proceed to the presentation, please allow me to read some information about Dr. Lila. Dr. Lila completed her PhD in Educational Administration, Management and Leadership at the Faculty of Education, University Technology Mara, Malaysia in 2015. She also received her Master of Education in Educational Administration and Management from the International Islamic University Malaysia in 2001. Prior to that, she received her Bachelor of Education in Teaching of English as a Second Language, or TESOL, from the University Kebangsaan Malaysia in 1994. I'm afraid that I can't read one by one all the informations in her CV because it's pretty long, right? Currently, she is a senior lecturer working at the Faculty of Education, University Technology Mara, Malaysia. Her research interests lie in various aspects of TESOL and educational administration, management, and leadership. Right. Today, Dr. Lila will deliver a presentation entitled Empowering Digital Leadership and Digital Innovation in Building Smart and Sustainable Administrative and Postgraduate Communities in the Age of Disruption. All right. Before we begin, we kindly remind our participants that there will be a question and answer session after the presentations from the three invited speakers. Please feel free to note down your questions during the session. You may write down the questions in the chat box, or later you can directly deliver the questions to the intended speakers. All right, without further ado, I would like to invite Dr. Lila to begin her presentation. 20 minutes, madam, for the presentation. The floor is yours.
Is it possible for me to present my slides, or?
Yes, doctor. You can directly share screen your slides, please.
Okay, hold on, yeah. Okay, I'm trying at the moment.
Yes, it's on our screen, ma'am.
Okay. All right, I may not be able to see you after this because I will be in my PowerPoint, yeah?
Yes, yes, no worries, ma'am.
Okay. Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera to Mr. Rizky And first of all, I would like to say thank you very much to the fourth virtual international conference in economics, law and humanities by Ngudi Waluyo University, Indonesia. Okay, first of all, my name is Lily Suzana binti Jamian, and I am from the Faculty of Education's UITM Malaysia, and my area is actually Educational Management and Leadership. Right, so far so good. Can you hear me?
Yes, clear,
Okay.
ma'am.
All right. So basically, this is the part that I would like to share. But after this, I will go very fast, yeah, onto the perspective of digital leaderships and digital innovations in building smart and sustainable administrative and postgraduate communities in VUCA-driven age of disruptions. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the COVID-19 pandemic has significantly disrupted the operations of higher education institutions globally, exposing higher educations to highly VUCA environment characterized by volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. So the unexpected disruption has actually generated significant challenges, yeah, for higher education institutions in sustaining their core functions, particularly in teaching, okay, teaching and learning, administrative and leadership practices. Okay, when physical classes were prohibited during the pandemic, yeah, technology and visual classes were fully developed to sustain the operations of Malaysian higher education institutions. So consequently, the traditional physical modes of management, leadership and instructions have undergone a substantial transformation, giving rise to hybrid and digitally driven models such as digital learning and digital innovations in technology assisted learning. Okay, UITM Malaysia being the largest university in Malaysia with 34 branch campuses, a populations of over 190,000 students and more than 10,000 postgraduate students, 5,000 lecturers and 200 programs, has strategically responded to these VUCA-driven disruptions by adopting a leapfrog approach, comprehensive digital strategy. Okay, within that context, okay, the university aims to enhance institutional effectiveness, efficiency, and resilience in serving both administrative and learning communities. So within this context, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, digital learning and digital innovations in teaching and learning have been positioned as our core enabler to support instructional leaders in managing and also leading uncertainty and maintaining global competitiveness. So this presentation actually aimed to share and present digital leaderships and also its dimension based on literature and also based on our understanding, the current understanding. And number two, digital innovations in teaching and learning at the postgraduate level or master's level. And also the third one will be the implications on how these two variables can help to sustain educational quality, looking into SDG number 4, and also comply to Malaysian's accreditations house, yeah, that is Malaysian's quality framework, or they call it MQF. So in the end, I would like to suggest suggestions on how we can actually motivate instructional leaders or lecturers at universities, yeah, to rescale and upscale their digital leaderships and also digital innovations. Now, this is to enable higher education institutions to sustain quality as well as building smart and sustainable administrative and also postgraduate community in the VUCA-driven age of disruption. So you can actually look at the keywords here, digital leadership as in green color and in digital innovation as in blue color. And then I also work on the word quality, sustainability, postgraduate teaching and learning, higher institutions, educations, SDG, and also VUCA-driven age of disruptions in Malaysia. So basically, this is the idea of the whole paper, but I'm going to be very fast looking into the concept of VUCA. Yeah, I think everybody is quite familiar with the VUCA concept, and this actually originated in the 1990s, early 1990s, from the United States of America during the Army War college period. Yeah, so looking into this, okay, they have been rapidly changes, yeah, and also unpredictable conditions, okay, in the post-Cold War security environment, where traditional military planning based on stable and linear assumptions was no longer effective. So over the time, the concept of VUCA, I think, was adopted, yeah, beyond the military context, and it was brought into business and leaderships and also educational perspective, okay, to explain challenges, okay, arising from globalizations, technological disruptions, and also interconnected system. So in the 21st century, according to all these references that I got here, okay, VUCA has actually has been increasingly applied, yeah, to educations and higher education, okay, especially in response to digital transformation, as well as global crises such as COVID-19, and also the evolving societal needs. So in this context, VUCA highlights the needs for adaptive leaderships, innovations, and resilient learning system, okay, to prepare our graduates for an uncertain and also rapidly changing world. So if you look at this perspective, yeah, I would say that UITM has actually gone through a lot of changes and also transformation. Okay, so I think I would like to go very fast because time is very limited. So I put here certain definitions of higher education mission in view of VUCA age of disruptions. Okay, so basically I'm focusing into the postgraduate communities, which made up by all these masters and PhD students, supervisors, and research partner. Yeah, so they play a critical role in shaping the future. So they are where new knowledge is created, future leaders are developed, and ideas that influence policy begin to take shapes. Yeah, so beyond advanced studies, these communities, they act as the space where leadership skill, creative thinking, and research with real world impact come together to help address today's most urgent global challenges. So the shift highlights postgraduate education as a key driver to sustainable development, supporting uh, sorry supporting the SDG 4, that is quality education, by strengthening advanced learning and research leaderships. And also SDG 9, that is looking into industry, innovation, and infrastructure by preparing future students and also researchers, yeah, at the PhD level to manage complexity and drive innovations that could benefit the society as a whole. So in short, I would like to bring in the digital leadership perspective. Okay, beyond the technical competence, okay, digital leadership is less about mastering technology, but we focus more about leading people, purpose and values in digital world. So I also quoted Bas and Aviolo, okay, 2001, whereby digital leaderships in postgraduate education actually extend beyond the technical proficiency that encompasses the capacity to lead research and also research innovations and also collaborations, yeah, through strategic ethical and adaptive use of digital technologies. Okay, this is to overcome the complexity and also the uncertain global environment. All right, there's a lot of issues on digital leaderships, but I think I have to be fast. Okay, what is important here at the core subject, yeah, digital leaderships actually involve the ability to align technology with vision, values, and purpose. Okay, so this actually requires strategic thinking, not just technical know-how. Yeah, so in my understanding, over the time, okay, digital leaderships beyond the skill, yeah, actually looking into the human perspective, okay, emphasizing ethical judgment, trust, empathy, right? And this is to ensure leaders, okay, could actually collaborate with digital innovations, that is to support the people, the well-being, and also contribute to the broader goal of social and also sustainable development. So there's a lot of digital leadership's perspective here, but over the 5 years, yeah, we could see that the development of digital leaderships actually go hand in hand with digital innovation. So with that perspective, UITM has actually come up with the ideas of developing the digital mindset, okay, among the faculties, 24 faculties, as well as the big number of students. So therefore, the faculty development, student engagement, and digital literacy has been the core perspective that we need to focus within the past 5 years. So the university is actually provide a lot of training, support for faculty members. This is to enhance digital skills, also digital leaderships, okay, and integrate technology effectively into the teaching. And looking into the student engagement, we actually help to create opportunities for our students, okay, to develop their digital skill as well. And this is through their curriculum, workshop, online courses, and also projects embedded in their subjects. And in terms of digital literacy, university is actually fostering the culture of continuous learning and encourage faculty and students to stay at par with the emerging technologies and trend in digital pedagogy. So in short, yeah, we actually promote students to embrace technology with full ethics, and also with full cautions, because there's a lot of challenges when it comes to technology, and the world of AI is getting more and more rigorous, and that comes into perspective of education itself. So with this, everybody, looking into digital innovations, okay, we also engage with looking into digital leaderships, we also engage these digital innovations in university, okay, in building smart and sustainable both administrative and postgraduate communities, okay, during this VUCA-driven age of these disruptions. Okay, I will go very fast. I'm not going to read all this thing, but this is how we develop, yeah, looking into traditional leaderships, and then we slowly move into digital leaderships in higher education. And there's a lot of transformations that university has to do, and looking into that, yeah, university has been very proactive, in coming up with a lot of digital innovations. This is to be in line with quality postgraduate teaching and learning. All right, so in that sense, university such as UiTM and many other universities in Malaysia, they come up with their own digital innovations such as blended learning, MOOC, and then micro credentials, and then Boom, as well as Appel programs for working people as well out there, you know. So there's a lot of transitions going on in university with high populations, right? Okay, so I started to embark on digital leaderships and digital innovations for sustaining quality in teaching and learning at the postgraduate program, looking into various models and also looking into literature as well. So this is part of my research for the past 5 years. Okay, and we try to align this perspective with the quality as well as accreditations compliance. All right. So in Malaysia, you know, they won't compromise with quality. So we have to be at par and also be working rigorously to comply with all these accreditations board and also houses. Yeah. All right. So with that, if you can take a look here, transformations of digital platform in UiTM started in early 2018, but eventually took place in 2020, and we started to have a rigorous development into our website. So you can see that before the pandemic, we had like 172,000 students, yeah, and we had like 6,000 plus courses offered in 34 branches, universities in Malaysia, as well as Sabah and Sarawak. Yeah, so we started to have all these window, okay, to help our students and lecturers, yeah, to be to attend the teaching and learning processes in universities. So you can see there's a lot of icon here in 2020. And then in 2025, as in current year, you can see the facts and figures here. We had going to reach 200,000 students throughout our campus or branch campuses in Malaysia. So this has actually, we also have come up with 1 point something alumni, okay, graduates, and you can see here that the program actually we try to be at par with our accreditations body. So quality program has sustained, okay, from 600 just now. Okay, we try to look into quality, and our university is taking a serious measure to look into all the programs, and it could be a little bit volatile in terms of the demands. Yeah. All right. And looking at the postgraduate students, we have at the moment about 10,000 plus postgraduate students. This include the PhD and also the master's program throughout. Yeah. And we have a lot of statistic here, and you can actually venture. And in 2020, I started to take the challenge, yeah, to embark on various digital platforms in UiTM. And whenever lecturers embark on whatever digital platforms, they will have a formal appointment by the VC in the university. So I started to be brave, even though it's not easy, you know. I was there during the Jurassic time, no handphone, nothing, when I was a student, and now I started to embark on all this digital platform in university. So until now, I think I've been very active in all this learning system in UiTM, and you can see that this is our platform UFuture, where we have stations all our blended learning as well as MOOC program, okay, for our undergraduate as well as our postgraduate students. Yeah, so this is my UFuture window, and I started to come up with a lot of digital innovations for the students. Yeah, okay, and for all the codes that I'm teaching, I'm trying my level best to engage my students with technology and also digital innovations. All right, and as time goes by, you can see here, I keep on learning. It never stops, and also in 2025, I think starting from early this year, I also committed myself to be a part of this transformational digital platform, okay, in UITM. And you can see that I actively engage with a lot of these online courses. And now I would say that I have become the examiner to many universities when it comes to educational management and leaderships. Okay, so these are all these what they call it icon for the subjects, and you can see that if I were to teach the subject, okay, we develop the topics, and we have many topics for 14 weeks, and I started to have a lot of activities, online activities for my students. Yeah, okay, and you can see it's not only one subject but many subjects. So I try my level best to engage with all these digital innovations. Yeah, and all these are very much documented in the UITM Future system. Okay, by the end of the semester, we have all the documents in terms of engaging with our students. Yeah. Okay, now a part of this Future, okay, most of the lecturers, they were trained to be rigorous in website design as well. Okay, so this is very much into our own personal growth, and I started to create my own website for my students, especially the masters and PhD student, and it helps me a lot because student can actually work independently. All right, especially the PhD students, and we can see that in doing PhD is not easy. So I started with chapters, and then I move on to journal writing, because the requirement, students have to write at least 2 journals, index journals. So I prepared all these journals for the students based on my own writing, and then I guide them throughout until they finish or until they graduate their masters and also their PhD. So this is one of the outcome from digital leaderships, digital innovations, and it helps me to build my own personal growth in becoming a lecturer in UITM. Okay, so this is our platform, UFuture. You can go to our website, uitm.edu.my, and students can actually engage for their classes. All right, and this is the web applications for all these administrative and support system, lecturers, as well as the support system staff in UITM. So it's not easy to manage all these 5,000 to 6,000 lecturers as well as the support system. So UITM has actually come up with a very efficient system for us to go online as well. Yeah. So in terms of research, teaching and learning, publications, consultations, etc., everything is documented through our web applications at the moment. And everything that we are doing now is very much grounded to what you call that, sustainable development goals. And most of our curriculum have to be grounded to all these developments, SDG goals, and this has been going on in our curriculum review. Yeah, for the current I think within this current year, I think almost 2 years, we already talk about this, and now we are very serious about sustainable development goals, and all the subjects, will have to be grounded to these SDG concepts. Yeah. Okay.
Excuse
And
me, Dr. Lily.
yeah.
Excuse
Got
me,
it?
2 minutes more, Dr.
All right. Okay.
2 minutes
Thank you.
more, Dr. Lily, please. Thank you. Pardon me.
Okay, so I started to write my journey with these experiences, okay, concerning the differences between traditional leaderships and digital leaderships. I started to look into the literature and read a lot and do a lot of research, and I tend to ground from the education perspective with scholars, especially these headmasters, yeah, Shiniger, and I tend to work together with my postgraduate, and we tend to build instrumentations, yeah, according to the 7 pillars, right, by uh, Shininger, regarding digital leaderships. So, in terms of leading the postgraduate, masters, and PhD students, I started to expose the student, okay, to the various concept of leaderships, and the latest one will be digital leadership. So this is one of my postgraduate students, okay, who actually managed to complete their research in digital leaderships, and also digital teaching and learning, yeah, in various institutions in Malaysia. All right, and this is actually one of the instrument that I personally work with my postgraduate students. If you're interested into measuring digital leaderships practices, you are welcome to contact me, and we help you to measure using the instrument. Yeah. All right. So it's not easy to come up with the instrument. A lot of hard work, okay, in terms of statistic, whatnot, and eventually all these things, okay, digital leaderships, digital innovations, was formally grounded to all my syllabus, and eventually this has been conducted in our curriculum review, and in terms of being the coordinator for the program, head the departments, okay, I did a lot of curriculum review, and we managed to get our accreditations by the MQF. Yeah, and you can see the results here, okay, and we actually have achieved a lot of things within these past 5 years. All right, and in conclusions, everybody, I think I work closely with all the lecturers in universities, especially my faculty, okay, to encourage them, motivate them to increase their skill, okay, to upskill and reskill their ability in digital leaderships as well as digital innovation. So this is a lot of effort that we try to help our communities in UITM. So in conclusions, everybody, empowering digital leaderships and digital innovations in building smart and sustainable administrative and postgraduate communities in VUCA-driven age of disruptions in UITM Malaysia is a journey, and it is a constant change for all these lecturers or instructional leaders in the faculty of educations as well as the faculty in UITM. Okay. With that, I think thank you very much, and you can ask me questions. And thank you very much to the 4th Virtual International Conference of Economic Law and Humanities, University of Ngudi Waluyo. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Lily, for the insightful and remarkable presentation. I do apologize that at the very first time I mispronounced your name.
Lily.
I think that it should be pronounced Lille, not Lily. Okay, thank you very much, Doctor.
Right. Okay, thank you. So I hope you
Ladies and
enjoyed the
gentlemen.
presentation, the journey.
Yes, We're going to proceed to the second and the third speaker first, Doctor. So
All right.
we're going to have the question and answer session at the end of the presentation.
Sure. All right. Thank you.
Okay. So ladies, thank you so much, Doctor. Ladies and gentlemen, our next invited speaker is Associate Professor T.S. Dr. Jessica Ong Hai Liu, FCILT. Right. Good morning, Dr. Jessica.
Hi, good morning to everybody. Hi,
All right.
Hi. Yeah.
Good morning,
Okay.
Dr. Jessica.
Morning. Good morning, sure.
Thank you very much for contributing to our international conference. Right. Associate Professor T.S. Dr. Jessica Ong Hai Liu is a distinguished Malaysian academic industry leader and media personality with extensive contributions across communication, media, language, education, and logistics sectors. She currently serves as the chairperson of Women in Logistics and Transport, Malaysia, a council member of the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport, Malaysia, vice chairperson of Pertubuhan Aspirasi Bahasa Melayu Malaysia, and exco of Malaysian Professional Center. Additionally, she is an associate professor at the Faculty of Defense Studies and Management, National Defense University of Malaysia. Dr. Jessica earned her PhD in language psychology, particularly in psycholinguistics, communications, and linguistics from University Putra, Malaysia in 2010. With a dynamic career spanning academia, logistics, communication, public service, and social advocacy, Dr. Jessica continues to be a trailblazer in fostering education, industry collaboration, and media influence in Malaysia. All right, ladies and gentlemen, in today's session, Dr. Jessica will share insights on digital communication for humanitarian logistics and community resilience. All right, please give a round of applause to welcome Dr. Jessica. 20 minutes for the presentation. The time is yours, Doctor.
Thank you very much to Bapak Muhammad Rizki as the moderator. Thank you, Bapak. And of course, I would like to say, Salam Sejahtera, Salam Misi Madani, and very good morning to especially to our Professor Dr. Suyarantro, Director of Universitas Budi Waluyo, that giving opportunity to me today, and also to Satria and all of you, and the Dean, and all of you that are today, and also my respects to Professor Dr. Lily, a very good presentation, Dr. Lily, and also my friend Professor Dr. Marcos Prandini, that now I heard that in Switzerland around 2 something morning, so can see the kata semangat from Switzerland, and also from Professor Alexin Gashimov and Professor Dr. Hassani that we together as a speaker today. All right, so I would like to share my slide. From the moderator, Prof. Dr. Muhammad Dr. Rizki. I think from your side, I will pass to Satria. Can we share with my presentation? Yeah, or I share from here.
Yes, you can share by yourself, or you can have our assistant.
Well, actually, I can share from my side. Okay, no problem. So I will share from my side. Yeah, is it clear, right? Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I would like to share in this fourth virtual international conference on economics, law, and humanities, ICoELH. Congratulations. And my topic today is about digital communication for humanitarian logistics and community resilience. And I would like to share about my background a little bit just now about the webinar. So now I'm just the immediate past chairperson of Women in Logistics and Transport, Malaysia. But now I'm involving in the Women in Future Technologies, under Malaysia Robotics, AI, and Automation Association, MyRAS. So now I just be appointed as a woman, the chairperson for women. So we are looking into the strength of the women and also the next generation, and how in the MyRAS and for information that we're also looking into the importance of academic in this AI, robotics, and automation society. So today I'm here to combine my experience in digital communication for humanitarian logistics and community resilience. All right. So to all the students that will be here with me today and all the participants, I would like to share nowadays about the AI. Yeah, so AI in this era, we can see that we're shaped by disruption, pandemics, the climate event. I saw Dr. Lily also share a little bit about COVID-19. So this is all the disruption of pandemics, climate events, rapid technology shift, and information overload digital communication have become a critical lifeline for communities. So we are looking into in the NGOs. Yeah, I'm looking into the NGOs part, and also National Defence University Malaysia as a Defence Security University. Importance about all this to be together, that building resilience is not only about physical infrastructure, but about how quickly, accurately, that effectively information flows. So now digital platform and the strategic media and community networks are very important to see the society's response to the crisis, to build the trust and maintain the social cohesion. So I would like to share experience, the importance about this, but why digital communication matters. Now everything is AI, right? We're looking into that. Digital communications, that we're looking into the real-time information that communities can receive the rapid updates about disasters, about alerts, emergency. That's important. So in my one of our research in humanitarian logistics, we think that now we must also looking into, when we think about logistics supply chain, right? We will think about transport, we will think about all this part. But for us, in our research team, that we're looking at the important about humanitarian logistics, when the community should be rapid receive the updates about disasters, about the alerts, emergency, and also the transparency and responsible of media to give the information to people, to us. So to reduce the misinformation and also to increase the trust. So in other words, it's about community empowerment. Yeah, people can contribute directly through the social media, community, and all this. Yeah, this is very important. But we don't forget, when we share all this information, the importance about the trust, that we share, and also about the bridging the rural urban gaps by using the mobile internet becomes a tool for inclusion. So we did a few case study in a few places. Example, when during the flood in Malaysia, so that how we are trying to do the community empowerment in the last year and also this year in Kedah before, about and also in Terengganu. We went to Terengganu and Pahang. We're looking into the important about community empowerment and also the engagement to bridging the rural urban gaps, and looking into the importance about digital communication that enable to get information. I just would like to give one example. There's one school is called Sekolah Kebangsaan Bukit Road in Pahang. It's for orang asli. So for indigenous community, that how we get the information from them, because that we went down and we always communicate by using digital communication. But once anything happen, we're trying to also to provide apps to see that how they can contact us immediately to this community, to bridging us with the rural urban gaps. So far we have a very good connection with a few states in Malaysia to do our own way by the NGOs to work together, of course with the support from the government later on. So why humanitarian logistics? It matters for us. So during my term as a chairperson for Women in Logistics and Transport Malaysia, this is all the things that we always involve. And in WeLike Global, we also have WeLike Global, that we have around 40 countries with us, that we always will share the information from other countries. Like just example recently about Hong Kong cases, all these things we always be together by using the platform of NGOs, professional center, professional body. Then this is how we're looking into the humanitarian logistics that matters, is because rapid responsive life, the first 72 hours, for us is very important. After assessors determine the scale of impact efficient logistics that enable faster supply delivery and ensure the rights for the people, and also to support the long-term recovery human logistics, which is immediate relief and sustainable rebuilding efforts. So we just look in Malaysia, we don't look in at our country yet, but we also like supporting them, by doing a lot of supporting morally and also some financially within the WeLike Global that time. And in my RAS now, WFIT also try to spread their wings through global robot clusters. I just went to Korea recently, in Daegu, Korea. So we're discussing about doing a program to be together to do another wings for women, and we try to form to establish a more women's wing to support the women, because we're looking nowadays that women also should be put in front. I just put another side of AI about AI during our own research that saying that AI, that women must involve more in this technology. So this is the one that we are trying to come in. Okay, another one is about social media as a communication lifeline. So just little bit some data to share from here that people spend around 2 hours 24 minutes daily on social media, and during the COVID-19 pandemic, 70% of Malaysian rely on the social media for government updates. This is by our MCMC survey. So this is, we feel that social media as a communication lifeline. All right. So another one, students and also ladies and gentlemen, about digital communication in crisis response. Yes, I want to share here some information, right? So about number one, the UN found that communities is active digital communication networks recover 30-40% faster than disasters. Also, early warning by SMS system reduces disaster mortality by around 50% UNHCR, UNDRR, and also misinformation challenges and WHO that label misinformation a global infodemic, and also 1 in 3 Malaysian has encountered false health information online. And I would like to share also one thing that in our university, UPNM, there's one Dr. Noh Hasna Fairuz, my good friend. Her research is about this, about the crisis response in Aceh, for information, and Malaysia Aceh for her PhD. So we're also looking into the more details about all these crisis response, right? So the role of strategic media, I want to share about this. The role of media we're looking into, we targeted the right message, right audience, and timely the fast dissemination, trusted, credible sources, transformative changes behavior, and strengthen resilience. And the strategic media here, the importance about the government agencies, university, community leaders should be integrated, and also crisis community planning, social media strategy, and risk messaging framework, CDC, the WHO model, and community engagement and feedback loops. So this is the role of strategic media that we also would like to put in our research later on to look into how the strategic media can be the main factor for this crisis and response for this disaster, for the risk things that happen in all this thing. All right. So next one about women and digital communication. Okay, this is the one that I want to focus a little bit about this since my experience also with a woman in industry and trade under MITI, under MITI, BT, and also with WILAT just now, and this one with women in technologies, the FIT. So this is, I consider I met groups of women that really interested to do more about this, to lead into the women to contribute significantly to community resilience through communication roles. So the key point here that women can make up 49% of the global internet users, and women also led online communities often serve as a support network during the crisis. And in Malaysia, women dominate fields like education, communication, and community work, and making them essential in digital resilience effort. Yeah, it is true that in education, communication, and community work, but in AI. So since that I'm joining the MyRAS now as one of the expo, so we're looking into the important that how in Malaysia, women should involve more in digital communication and AI, besides robotics or whatever. So it's still not really high, involvement of women in this AI and robotics. So we're looking into that, and we will work closely with our president, Dr. Iskandar Baharin, our deputy president, Dr. Kamal Yaakob, looking into with the program of STEM in Malaysia. I think Dr. Lily also know about that, about the STEM. We are trying to integrate more information, right, about the STEM, it means for the science and technology, everything, to make sure that the digital communication is one of the things that we should put in front, to put it as a top, as an umbrella, for to make sure that everybody will join together, not the women, next generation. And we also open to all the student university, and actually now I'm in University Utara Malaysia, I think Malaysia know about that, in UUM, to also give some talk about this AI, and also about the involvement about important about communication and media for the students in UUM, right? So another one that I've been looking into to building a resilience community through a digital communication. I'm highlighting about strategies. I'm trying to highlight this about strengthen digital literacy. And I want to highlight about empower local digital champions. And I just would like all the participants and my students also here today, National Defence University Malaysia, joining this conference, and I want them also to look into it, them to highlight the strategies to strengthen digital literacy, to teach communities to evaluate information credibility, to empower local digital champions, to how to train the youth, women, and NGOs as a communication connectors, and use the multi-platform communication. Now I think everybody have all these WhatsApp, Telegram, community apps, local radio, website, and more. Yeah, now there's TikTok. This is the platform that I'm looking into it. Yeah, and also the established crisis communication protocols. Yeah, also the e-combat misinformation, and collaborate with media universities and platform. Yeah, so this is the one that we will move in our program in MyRAS. Yeah, we're looking into building a resilient community through the digital communications, and we will go by the tour. We will make it last time. Last time when I was chairperson for the Women Logistics Transport Malaysia, I did about the tour, humanitarian logistic tour, when we will bring our own tools there, our own ideas, how to be communicate with the students, and also with the people there, right? We're looking into a lot of way in the education terms, but in a very interactive way. We want that interactive because students nowadays, I'm talking about the Gen Z and the younger generation, they how to connect with them. We have to use some strategies like recently we also use some strategies like doing not baking, yeah, some cooking strategies, and we're also building the connection engagement by using some programs like doing some beats, special beats, something like this. We're doing something for the phone beats, right? Something like that to get close to them through the digital communication, right? The next one, leveraging the strategic media for institutional impact, position the leaders and experts as authority voices, strengthen the visibility of research outcome and innovation, and support the branding for programs, events, and achievement, enhance public understanding of complex, example, defense, security, and technology. And in national defense, I want to share a little bit here about national defense in Malaysia, that we're focusing on defense and security. And recently, I think around last 2 weeks, we also went to Halim Azmin group, or we call it Humanities University, to thinking about to work together, right? Like putting also the media, the impact of strategic media to be as an umbrella there to discuss about the importance, how to reach the veterans. Yeah, to reach veterans means that we always forget about the one that retired. So that Dr. Tasri Halim said that why not we do something to appreciate the one that retired, example like our military officers, right, our police officers that retired. So how to leveraging by using all this strategic media to link with them, to engage with them, and giving them more opportunity to come in, not only giving them some, we always think about some in kinds, yeah, but we're looking into the education. So we are focusing now, strategic media, education, right, and also for the lifelong learning. This is the 3 points where you're looking into it for the long term. So as a conclusion, again, I would like to just conclude here, the importance about digital communication is no longer as optional, but it's a backbone of community resilience. And by combining technology, this is the thing I want to stress, technology, strategic media, and community participants, all this participation, we can create societies that are not only informed, but united and empowered to face the challenges ahead. So this is the things that we want to do another tour for next year, right? But we also engage with universities, not only in the government universities, but now we try to spread our wings to also the private university, and we are working very closely with UNW, with a few universities like we are going towards to UCSI. So for us, it's like no more segregation between private university or government university or colleges. So the Mighty, another college, Mighty Skills college, also just they want to join us in more progress about TVET. So for me, my opinion, as a conclusion, that we have to work together. Number one, there's no more that you're different activity, but we'll try to find which part that we can link together, which part that is our own strength, and combine together. And this photo that I went to Korea, they go recently, that they always want to give a lot of opportunity to us, not only in Korea, in Switzerland. I think that Marcus also, I'm still engaged with him about some programs. So I would like to say that networking is very important here, networking, and to make sure that we have that humanity, the importance of humanity. We don't we differentiate which country, we differentiate about our races, we differentiate everything, but we are looking into the importance about humanity. And I would like to stress again about my topic today is about digital communication for humanitarian logistic and community resilience. So with this communication that we have, not only humanitarian logistic, community resilience, but everything. Even in politics, yeah, it is important about digital communication is important in politics, in social, the economy. So that's the word I would like to stress today. For me, digital communication nowadays is very important for all the aspects, and we must work together and back together. So I think that's all from me, the moderator, Bapak Muhammad Rizki. Is it okay? I pass it back to you. Yeah. Okay, stop here first. All right. Okay. So yeah,
Okay.
so I would like to share about the experience, but anything else I would like the question and answer later on, like Dr. Lily, right? We want more response from the participant later on. All right. Okay. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you
Yeah.
very much, Dr. Jessica.
Yeah.
All right, for the enlightening and fruitful presentation. Okay, I do believe that all participants have already got with that inquiries, questions, and everything. Yeah, let's run. You may clarify. Please save that. Yeah, for the question and answer session later on. Okay, we can remind, all that there will be a question and answer session after the presentations from the three invited speakers. Please feel free to note down your questions during the session. You may write down the questions in the chat box, or later on you can directly deliver the questions to the intended speakers. Okay, let's proceed to the third invited speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, our upcoming invited speaker is Professor Marcus Brandini, PhD. Good morning, Prof. Marcus. Can you hear me?
I'm here, yes. Good morning.
Okay, good morning, Prof. Thank you very much for joining our international conference. Okay, Prof. Marcus have over 25 years of academic leadership experience in higher education institutions and over 10 years of professional experience in business development in the private sector and public organizations. He earned his PhD in Educational Management and International Management, University of St. Gallen, Switzerland. Currently, he serves as the Director of International Degree Programs at Kaleidos University of Applied Sciences and visiting professor at Shenzhen Technology University, China. His research interests are innovation and entrepreneurship of startups, digital transformation, and intercultural education and training. Here, I noted that he has a very inspiring motto quoted from Benjamin Franklin: "An investment in knowledge always pays the best interest." All right. In today's session, ladies and gentlemen, Prof. Marcus will share an insightful presentation on empowering cultural resilience through economic management and digital transformation for sustainable entrepreneurship. Without further ado, I'd like to invite Prof. Marcus to begin his presentation. 25 for the presentation. Prof, the floor is yours.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Good morning from Switzerland. So we have 3:30 in the morning, in the middle of the night. But don't worry, I have a wonderful cup of Indonesian coffee here. So that keeps me nicely awake at this time of the day. So first of all, also many thanks from my side to have been invited to this conference, where I'd like to address the title as it has been given for this conference. As you have said, I'm a professor for international business and entrepreneurship at Kaleidos University of Applied Sciences here in Switzerland. So let's start with a quote, which you can see here on this slide. We are at the beginning of a period of extreme flux, of extreme change, and great competitive pressure, etc. So if I asked you whether you agree with this quote, I suppose most of you would agree with it. This quote originates from Peter Drucker, which you might know as the godfather of management and business administration. This quote originates, by the way, from the 1950s. So what we might see as a status of today's times is actually not all too new. So even back 50, 60 years ago, there has already been this impression that the world is changing pretty rapidly. So this age of disruption, as we might call it today.
Sorry. Everybody, all participants, please, you are required to mute your microphone, please.
Okay.
So sorry, Dr. Margaret.
No worries,
Yeah,
no worries.
no
Okay,
worries.
so
Okay, go on.
if that is true, if we agree on that statement here, and if we would agree that this is still the case today, so then I think the major question for communities, companies, individuals today would be that how can we make the right decision or the right decisions to able to build these smart and sustainable communities in a dynamic world, which is, as we have heard already, characterized by these VUCA characteristics. I have highlighted the right decision as the focus of my presentation. Indeed would be on decision making, as we will see in a minute. So if today's world is characterized by VUCA, by those four terms, then indeed I think we can use it to describe that we are in a rapidly unpredictable change in many ways, whether it's on the technological side, whether it's on the social, environmental side. It's there is a lack of reliability in foreseeing the future, and it has become quite complex to understand all those developments and therefore make decisions in a right way to get prepared for it. And ambiguity, so an unclear meaning and interpretation of what that all means. So I guess we have heard about VUCA, so I'm not gonna go deeper into it. If this is the setup, the framework we are talking about, then I'd like to shortly maybe also define what we would talk about when we address smart and sustainable communities and the age of disruption. Smart communities, I would understand as communities that can learn, decide, and adapt better than other communities under this condition of uncertainty and disruption to meet the challenges of the future, or to set in a different way, communities that can make better decisions to get prepared for the challenges of the future, whatever these challenges might be. A sustainable community refers to what has been framed the triple bottom line: people, profit, planet. So communities that are able to meet the present needs while preserving the economic, social, and environmental capacity to also meet the needs of future generations. So that is the classical definition of the Brundtland Commission that has come out in the 1980s. So the definition of sustainability. And last but not least, the age of disruption even refers of what Clayton Christensen, the Harvard professor, has shaped. So a period in which technological, economical, institutional change occurs in a very rapid way, but in a way that individuals, organizations, or governance systems are hardly able to adapt, or to say differently, those who cannot adapt, they will be disrupted. They might even disappear. So it's basically about moving along this S curve where disruptive innovations occur once in a while, and wash away all those companies, institutions that are not able to adapt to those disruptive innovations. Artificial intelligence, for instance, would be one of those disruptive innovations we see right now. So here, just to define what those three terms would mean for me. So basically, to say again, it's about how can we make decisions in order to achieve smart communities, sustainable communities in an environment which is characterized by disruption. So if I apply this to myself as a professor for entrepreneurship and international business, I would come up with two questions that I see important for me. How can I educate and train students or managers or government officials to make high quality decisions under these uncertainty and disruptive conditions in order to tackle all those challenges of the future? And secondly, how can we then actually do it? How can we basically connect knowledge, and specifically academic knowledge, to real world problems? I would like to address those two questions in the following part of my presentation. The first question would rather address the theoretical framework of decision making, and the second question will address how we can actually do it in a university or academic setting. So let's first look at how we can train, educate students to make high quality decisions. In my lectures or in my also research, I refer to a concept which I have created together with a professor from University of St. Gallen. We call that the Decision Intelligence Navigator. The Decision Intelligence Navigator helps us understand how we make how we can make decisions and how we can make better decisions. I will shortly address those framework in a minute, but let me first fast forward 2 slides to explain what decision intelligence actually means, to then better understand the framework. Decision intelligence is a discipline quite new in business and other disciplines. It originates from Google, which has been interested to learn how we can make good decisions or better decisions in business, in a government setting, in maybe also natural sciences. So it's an idea of how we can improve decision making by even considering the entire decision making process, basically starting from framing the problem we want to address onto the outcome which we want to achieve. The attractive baseline of decision intelligence is that it combines many disciplines. So it's not just trying to understand decision making from a psychological point of view, from a management point of view, maybe from a natural science point of view, but it combines various disciplines. And so in this way, we have like a transdisciplinary way of understanding how we can make decisions to build smart and sustainable communities, for instance. For this, we need good data engineering that help us make good decisions, then turn these decisions into actions, and in this way achieve respective outcomes. For instance, a decision to make could be, how can we achieve a net zero carbon footprint by 2040 as part of a sustainable community? Or how can we achieve responsible leadership in a company? Or how can we shape a legal framework to address artificial intelligence in a responsible way? So these are all decisions to be made but using different disciplines to come up with the right decision. So this is the framework, or the theoretical framework, that underlies the Decision Intelligence Navigator. So it's a framework that helps students, that helps, in the end, everybody to make right decisions. It includes 4 parameters. That is understanding what the decision context is. We need then framework proficiency, intelligence, access, and decision proficiency. So first of all, when we make a decision, so say we want to achieve net zero carbon footprint by 2040, right? We need to understand what would that all include. Basically, it's about starting with questions. What would that all mean for us as a company, or what would it mean as a nation if we want to achieve that goal? For this, we can use all the many frameworks that science offers to us. Managerial frameworks from psychology, from natural sciences. So that's basically the knowledge that is available. And I would here refer to the scientific proven or empirically proven knowledge we can use to address these questions. And of course, in order to answer these questions, we need data, intelligence. This can be big data, it can be small data, as I would call it. So knowledge that has been prepared also scientifically. And the better we can align our problem here in the decision context, in, for instance, achieving net zero carbon footprint, with all those frameworks, the knowledge we have available, the better we can make a fit between those 2 parameters, the more insights we can get in order then to make the right decision, in order to increase the performance of a company or the performance of an entire community or society. So in our case, just to stay with the same example, net zero carbon footprint. For this, we have many frameworks available, much knowledge available now from science that allow us to get insights, for instance, how we can shape our corporate strategy to make then the right decisions and implement them in our company. If we see a company or businesses as part of a smart and sustainable community. Empirically, that is well proven. So it is well proven that those companies, here if you talk just about business, that those companies who have a good decision-making process in place achieve achieve better results, achieve better performance than those who do not. And these can also all be these decisions to achieve smart and sustainable communities. So how can I leave that? How can we now do that? How can we put that into practice, right? So if we agree that building smart and sustainable communities is basically a task of having or making good decisions or effective decisions, and how can we put that into a practical context in a university setting? And this basically means that the academic knowledge we have at place, all those frameworks we have at place, we have to align them with real world problems through applied, real case-based learning, as an example. And this is what we try to do at my university, Kaleidos University of Applied Sciences. That is a special kind of a university we have in Switzerland. We call it applied science because we try to transfer all the academic knowledge all the time into a practical or applied context. And that is also what has found its way into the mission of Kaleidos University pioneering education that creates opportunities. Now, how do we do it? How do we improve the decision-making capabilities of our students so that they can become architects or shapers of smart and sustainable communities? We do have a module in place at our university, which is called Business Consulting Projects. So that's a module where our students are placed into the situation of a consultant or consultants, and they consult companies in all those various issues companies have. It's about addressing their decision-making capabilities by working on real life case problems. So this is one example of a project which we have done this year. We do about 40 of these projects every year. In this case, the students had to consult a startup company which is offering service robotics. So service robotics, which can be part of a smart community. Also, robotics to be seen as disruptors of the health industry. So how will these robots possibly create new opportunities for the health industry, for instance, in elderly care? So the students here, they had to come up with ideas, with a concept, with a strategy for that startup company and how to use robotics in the health industry, for instance, to support elderly care. So that is basically the setup in order for us to improve the decision-making, problem-solving capability of our students to become architects of smart and sustainable communities. Behind it, there is the idea that projects, as we have seen them before, projects help us to build future skills, as this is also a discussion quite intensively being made at the moment. So all those skills necessary to build future skills as a basis for smart and sustainable communities. And behind it, there is also a pedagogical concept which helps us to shape these future skills. So it's basically a change of traditional learning into problem-based learning. Usually universities are still, you have a professor standing there telling something to the students, they memorize it, and in the end, they have to go for an exam. This can still be effective, but it's much more effective if you turn it around. If we start with a problem, this can be a business consulting issue, the students, they have to then come up with their own solutions and learn and apply all those skills which we want to foster by solving the problem. So in this way, I think we enable students to become also architects, to become shapers of all those issues, all those challenges that are linked to build smart and sustainable communities and deal with disruption. So problem-based learning even is a very effective way to come up or to build all these skills. I have listed it here on this illustration, but I will not go through all these parameters, but they basically say again what the slide before has already expressed. So starting from a problem, identifying what the problem actually is, doing research in order to address and find all the knowledge necessary to resolve the problem, critically analyze it, and in the end, then come up with a solution and share it by communication, by the way. So what Jessica has said before, that would also be, in the end, part of that concept. When we use this concept of problem-based learning, then we can also directly address all those skills, all those capabilities needed to shape the future, to address all those challenges directly linked to smart and sustainable communities. The World Economic Forum has recently come up with a nice study where they have defined what those skills, those future skills are, which have to be addressed or trained by 2030. And it's not surprising, for instance, of course, that AI and big data has become the predominant skill we need to have today. So a skill that also, of course, helps to build these smart and sustainable communities. Network capabilities, technology literacy, creative thinking, resilience, etc. So those are also, in my view, the skills we need to address nowadays in a university setting in order to achieve or deal with this rapidly changing environment we are all faced with. So in order to summarize the main takeaways from what I would like to give on to you in this presentation. So I think we have seen that in this age of disruption where we are nowadays, we are faced with a permanent uncertainty and complexity and disruption that directly affect smart communities. But smart communities, this can be a company, it can be a nation, it can be an individual. Those communities, they are better equipped with decision-making processes that helps them to learn, decide, and adapt better than others. Sustainable communities are those who go for long-term decision quality and not just for short-term optimization. Decision intelligence, the concept I have used here, that is the concept that helps us to make better, more informed decision to achieve smart and sustainable communities. And universities, as we are all here, we have I think we play a key role in educating our students in decision making. We also smart communication skills, to refer to what we have heard before, but basically enable our students to become responsible decision makers in order to address all the challenges we have to resolve in our current times, and applied problem-based learning can be one approach to do so. So that's me. So if you want to connect by LinkedIn, please feel free to do so. Or if you want to get in contact with me by email, you would see it here also on the slide. Well, that's it from Switzerland to Indonesia, Malaysia. Thank you very much to have been here, and I'm looking forward to further discussions here in the conference with you.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Prof. Marcus, for the insightful and engaging presentation. Thank you so much as well for your efforts to stay awake there. It's already
still have lots of coffee.
Midnight.
No worries.
Listen. Right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, Prof. Lily, Prof. Jessica, and Prof. Marcus for the enlightening and remarkable presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, now we will proceed to the question and answer session. This session provides an opportunity for participants to ask questions, share comments, or seek clarification related to the presentation. Before we go to the questions, I'd like to briefly explain the procedure for the question and answer session. Each participant is kindly requested to introduce themselves by stating their names and affiliation before asking a question. Please keep your questions concise and focused so that we can accommodate as many participants as possible. We encourage questions that are directly related to today's presentation, and please submit your questions through the chat box or use the raise hand feature, and I will call you on accordingly. Okay, we now open the floor for questions. For the first opportunity, I'd like to invite 3 questions first. Okay. I have witnessed that here. Is there any question? Okay, I witnessed from the chat box here. Yeah, the first question from Miss Hardiani from Universitas Budi Waluyo. I'd like to, the question is addressed to Dr. Jessica. You mentioned about the relationship of women and digital communication. In your opinion, how do you see the future of women's participation in digital communication in the next 5 to 10 years? Okay, that's the first question for Prof. Jessica. And the second question from Miss Laili, Ratih Laili. The question is addressed to Prof. Pradini, Prof. Marcus. How to enhance the growth of students' creative thinking skill when they tend to overuse or depend on AI or artificial intelligence in learning, even for problem solving? Okay, that's the question for Prof. Marcus. The third question is also addressed to Prof. Jessica. From Bella, yeah. The question is from Bella. The question is regarding AI. I want to ask whether robots can replace professions such as lawyers or judges in the future. Is there any chance to be changed, or we can build one for that? Thank you. Okay. Is it all clear, the question, Prof. Jessica and Prof. Marcus?
Yeah. Okay, we're clear.
Okay, maybe I give the first opportunity to Prof. Jessica first to answer the question, please.
Yeah, can I have the opportunity to share one slide only? Is it okay? Can you turn on for me to sharing? Yeah. Yeah, because I just want to share one slide about the mission, about the future of human, if I can share from here. Yeah. Yeah, still cannot. Is it somebody? Yeah. Okay, can. Yeah, sure. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so I would like to share one mission here to answer the questions from the participants. So actually we are looking into this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These things that, number one, that we want to empower the women leaders to cultivate women's leadership in robotics, AI, automation, and digital transformation through the education, mentorship, and global collaboration. That's number one. And also just to inform all of you, that the students, we just had our AGM, annual general meeting, that we opened the membership, right, to all the students now with a very limit fees. We try to make it as low as we can, maybe around 20 ringgit or 30 ringgit for 1 year. And for women also, we will give a special price. Example, like for the membership, example, it's 100 ringgit, right? So we just give 30% to 70 ringgit. So we want to get more by giving them opportunity to be involved. Yeah. And then the second one is about to promote inclusive innovation, to advocate more gender balanced, participant inclusive policies in future technologies ecosystem, advance knowledge and research to support research, survey, and development about the projects that highlight women's roles and contributions in technology innovation. And we also want to strengthen the global, the third one. That's the slide. So the third one is like you want to share more about to strengthen the global collaboration, because from here I'm not very clear from my side. Because if we jump the slide, right? All right, so Okay, to strengthen global collaboration and build the partnership with the global technology and networks, academia, industry to foster the cross-border innovation empowerment. That's how maybe we not only in Malaysia, but we must cross all over the world to do it. Then what about the question about how to promote in 5 to 10 years? We have to give more awareness to the women that the importance about them to join us, not only looking into the academia, also into the importance of industry. Yeah, because you need to think about the future when the AI and robotics. I think Paul Marcus is also very active in the robotics part. Yeah, so we will work together about that. And when robotics can take over the role of the human later on, so there's also the things that we must look into it. Yeah, the awareness, the readiness for us to be ready for all this. So that's all I want to share about our mission for that. Actually, we have more programs that I can't share today because we will take more times about that, right? About our programs in women technologies. This is a few points that I would like to highlight about how we want to, our mission to look forward for the future technologies. I hope I answered the question from Dewi. Yeah, Dewi?
Yes,
Yeah, thank you,
yes,
Dewi.
thank you very much, Prof. Jessica.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Jessica. Is there any follow-up question from Ms. Dewi Rosnita and Mr. Kristabella Gunawan? No? All right, if there is not any following question, so we proceed to the to Prof. Marcus. Yeah, Prof. Marcus. The question is how to enhance the growth of students' creative thinking skill where they tend to overuse or depend on AI in learning, even for problem solving. Okay,
Yes.
Prof. Marcus.
Yeah. Thank you very much for that question. It's indeed a question that keeps me awake at night, right? So can we still be creative if artificial intelligence answers all our questions in the meantime? Maybe let me shortly also show you a study I have seen recently, which you can also find on LinkedIn, right? So maybe to shape that, to put that question into perspective. There has been a study where they measured the brain activities if we do not use AI and if we use AI. And the more red or orange you see, the more activity there is in the brain, and the more white you see, the less activity is in the brain. And so basically the consequence of this study is if we are using AI, we are getting brain dead, right? So we are losing all our creative thinking if we just get every answer to our questions from AI. I don't see it that pessimistically, right? So I think we should use AI as a tool, as a virtual buddy, as a coach for what we are doing, right? So we should not just copy paste what ChatGPT gives to us, but we should still critically try to, well, to be critically against the knowledge, against all the knowledge that comes out from ChatGPT. But it's a challenge to say so. And as you might know from your own maybe experience as students or as professors, it's easy, right, to write a paper nowadays in ways maybe better than we can ever do it on our own. However, maybe the projects I had presented before, right? The projects I had presented before, these real life cases still put us into an environment, in a situation where we cannot yet just copy paste, but where we still need to use our creative, our analytical problem-solving capabilities to address the questions that are to be solved in these problems. However, yes, we should just also be maybe self-disciplined in a way, not to allow our brain to just be inactive when we use artificial intelligence. So it's a critical,
All right.
still
Thank you very
critical
much.
approach, creative approach towards AI, not just seeing it as a replacement of thinking, but as a coach, as a virtual buddy.
Prof. Marcus, can I
Yes.
say something? Lily from
Yeah.
Malaysia.
Sure.
Hi, Prof. Lily.
Yeah, can I say
Yeah.
something, Prof? I really admire your paper, your research. Actually, I did decision making when I did my PhD, and
Mhm.
I tend to analyze decision making processes by the deans of public universities in Malaysia. It was about 60 sample of deans in Malaysia. And one of the sample is actually hovering around one of the research universities in Malaysia. Okay, and when it comes to the decision making process, and I tend to align to the profile of the person, I could see that whatever you say is actually true based on your lab based on your lab information just now. If you are using AI so much, yes, there will be dead brain actually. Because the brain is not thinking. So I still remember our Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir. When he was admired by many people throughout the world during his leaderships, yeah, and I had the chance to actually interview him, the kind of decisions making processes that he had, and it was too advanced because he's using the big data, okay, and also the futuristic kind of data in determining a lot of projects, big projects in Malaysia, and that was superb. A kind of decision making process that I found in him. And at the same time, when I conducted my research in one of the research university in Malaysia, when I look at the decision making process and the profiling, okay, it was interesting because those professors are actually the consultant. They are the consultant of the country in terms of economics, and I could see that the process is a rigorous process, decision making process, which is quite rigorous. Tend to use both right and left brain, So it was interesting, and I think I agree with you. Actually, if we use so much of this AI, we could not see the potential in ourselves. And that's what I'm trying to teach my students in the class. Put aside your handphone, no AI for about 30 minutes, do a lot of thinking. And I posted a lot of problem based learning and also inquiry based learning. Okay, so that actually helped the students. So I think this is very important because the brain, our own brain, needs to do a lot of activities. Okay, and that's how we're going to sustain in this disruptions age of time. All right, thank you very much for the perspective.
Well, I think our generation, we were still
Yeah.
faced with real life problems, and we had to think about it, right?
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's easy. It has become easy, right? And so we have to pay attention that the young generation is not just copy pasting from
Yes.
ChatGPT, but that is the problem now also for the economy or businesses in general, right? Many of those positions for juniors in companies, they are
Yes.
now replaced or can easily be replaced by AI, whether it's in consulting, in banking, whatever. So the
Correct.
young generation, when they come out of university, they actually might not find a job anymore because these jobs are all being replaced by AI. So they cannot even learn to deal with these real life issues.
Correct.
Those junior positions allow them to learn and become middle or then even senior managers, experts, as we might be or still be. So here we do have an issue, right, that AI has brought us into.
So the problem solving actually lies to the human brain. Actually, it's not
Yes,
so
but
much about AI
yes.
because AI is very surface in my point of view. Thank you very much, Prof.
Okay. Just to say, I think it's a very nice, it's a very
you very much.
effective tool, right? So what we have to use it in a positive
Yeah.
and effective way, right?
The
Okay, sorry
concept,
for.
the framework that you brought in, right? Okay, all right. Congratulations.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Marcus and Prof. Lily, for the very insightful information. Yeah, engaging discussion about AI. All right, we're going to have Mr. Krista Bella, who has raised his hand. Okay, Mr. Krista Bella Kunawan, you may turn on
Sorry.
your microphone, please.
Yeah, thank you. But I miss Christabella, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I think yeah. Okay, please, Miss Christabella, right?
Yes. Sorry, I want to ask a simple question actually for Mr. Marcus and Professor Marcus and Professor Lily. For AI, it's quite interesting because actually, is there any chance in the future if for AI itself can feel the emotion, can feel the empathy, can do negotiations between us as a human, or it's possible or not? Because actually, I'm from a law, magister of law. I want to ask if it's like I was asking that, is there any chance that AI can change the profession of lawyer? Is it still have a possible or not? Because right now AI can change the print, some print, maybe 50% print from a human, and then is it possible to change the profession of from us just such as lawyers or judges, where they can negotiate with many problems and they can solve our problems that we as a human we cannot solve it. That's perhaps my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Gunawan. Okay, Prof. Marcus or Prof. Lily first? You may directly answer the question.
Shall I start? And then Lily can maybe complement. Also, I mean, there are two questions. First is like, can artificial intelligence address our emotional side? And second question, would AI replace the job of lawyers, right? These are the two questions. Well, the first question is also very intensively discussed at the moment. So in the end, artificial intelligence is still a machine, right? It's an algorithm behind which basically does not have emotions. However, if you have ever used the speaking function of ChatGPT, right? I don't know whether you have used it. In the meantime, you have a speaking body which expresses also emotions in the language, right? You might have experienced that. So it sounds like a human being with emotions at the other side. And there are many or various examples or studies where people trust much more ChatGPT than they would trust a human being in an interaction, right? And in the meantime, it's, for instance, being used for therapy, psychological therapy, where people would tell a lot to ChatGPT. They would not tell maybe to a therapist. So in this way, I think, yes, it can address emotions, but we have to be aware it's simply just a generated kind of emotion, right? But it's getting better and better. And in the end, we do have, also we have to just still be aware it's a machine we're talking to. And I think, yes, I think AI does replace some parts of lawyers' work, mainly like looking for maybe like legal cases, this kind of, well, more like research things lawyers have to do. Here, AI is very effective. So basically what the junior lawyers do, AI can do much better, right? And this is again the problem. As a junior lawyer, you learn how to become an expert lawyer, but this becomes more and more challenging because all these maybe still more simple works, they can be replaced easily by AI. So you might miss the chance then to develop into an expert lawyer. So like any other job, also lawyers are disrupted by AI. Lily, you might have some
Yeah.
additional
Thank
views.
you, Professor.
Yeah, thank you for
Lovely.
the questions. I think your name is, sorry. Thank you, Prof, just now for your answers. Prof, actually, I engage with AI every day because I want to challenge my students as well. So, you know what happened when you talk about whether AI can actually address emotion? Yes, they were trained. AI, they are trained in many aspects of human perspective. Okay, especially when you talk about emotions. I was caught in a flood, in a jam previous time. You know, so I communicated with AI and then I screenshot and I sent it to the whole faculty, you know, and I told my faculty how sympathetic, empathetic, you know, this AI, and I showed them the conversations. You know, I said, you know, it's like my chat, yeah, my chat jam, right? During the my chat too, a jam, yeah. I told AI I can't stand anymore. And AI actually asking me, consoling myself, you know, my soul, harap-harap kamu lebih beriman. So the kind of words that was trained, given to this AI is very much like human being, you know. And I told my colleagues, look at this AI, so intelligent, very empathic, you know. And I say it's superb. And asking me, you know, would you like to have an alternative for a transportation, because I was caught in the jam, and as if sending the what do you call that, uh, the machines, you know, to come and fetch me at that point of level, just to console me. And it was interesting actually. But to be realistic, yeah, everybody, I think yes, it was trained with all the sentences, the best that they can produce in AI. Yeah? That is the functions of AI. But nobody can actually replace the soul, right? The soul in us. Kita ada roh di situ, ya. So a human being is made up by physical, emotions, what do you call it, IQ, EQ, and many things, right? So I think we can't simply say that it will replace. I won't agree with that words. You know, human being is still human being. You see. So how much AI can replace you? I think that is how much you need to search and do some research as well, because at one point it will be saturated, you know, the statement will be saturated in the AI kind of apps. And then the other one, you mentioned whether AI can actually replace lawyers or judges. You know, it depends on what aspect are you talking about. When it comes to the clerical documentations, whatnot, yes, AI can actually give you some perspective, very excellent, you know. But when it comes to a certain consultations which requires the human perspective, I don't think AI can actually do that to me, because sometimes I need a good lawyer to represent me. You know, sometimes I spoke to 10 lawyers who can't actually solve my problem, and I went to the 11th lawyers, you know, and I tried all the AIs. So I think it is a process where you have to go and doing some rigorous research as well. And I strongly believe that AI can never replace human being. That is my stand. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Lily, Professor Marcus.
All right. Thank you very much for Prof. Marcus and Prof. Lily, and also Ms. Krista Bilagunawan for the question. Okay, we still have two more questions. Okay, the first question is addressed to Prof. Lily as well. How can higher education institutions ensure that digital leadership initiatives, ensure that digital leadership initiatives genuinely improve educational quality rather than merely digitizing existing practices? That's the question for Prof. Lily. And the next question for Prof. Marcus. Okay. Would you like to answer directly, Prof. Lily?
Okay, I just take the first part, yeah. How can digital leaderships, yeah, ensure improve educational quality? Is that so? I can't see the message.
Yes, on the chat box, I think.
Chat.
Yeah.
Okay. So I try to give my responses on this. Yeah, I think when it comes to the questions, how can digital leaderships ensure it will improve the educational quality? All right. So we are actually, I won't say that it will ensure 100%, but we are taking initiative. Okay, to put things into perspective as well. And when it comes to digital leaderships, we have so many component, construct, and dimension, right? So to say that it will 100% cover or improve educational quality, it depends on what aspect of digital leaderships are you talking about. Okay, but when we talk about quality educations, now in the end we have to serve the community. That's what I believe. Yeah, that is the educational philosophy of educations in Malaysia. In the end, whatever knowledge that you acquired, you have to go back and serve your family, you serve your community and the country as a whole. So from that perspective, okay, I would say that you have to start small. Okay, looking into the various dimensions or construct of the digital leadership. And what I could see from the literature, we only cover about 7 pillars. And a lot of research now are looking into whether we are ready or not. Are we ready? So the questions of readiness is very abstract to me, but beyond that, I could not see much about the construct, right? So it is our task in university to observe what aspect of digital leaderships could enhance the quality of educations. All right. So from the what do you call that, the instrument that we tend to develop, okay, that I work together with the students. Okay, we work within the limited literature. Okay, so therefore I could not see it will cover the whole aspect of quality in educations, right? So for example, reliability, validity of a lot of things, okay, which required by accreditations board. Okay, so that actually does not exist yet in the literature. So I think we have to do a lot of work here and expand the literature on digital leaderships from my perspective. So I won't see 100% it will ensure, a lot of work need to be done. That's it. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much, Prof. Lily. Okay. I'm afraid that we ran out of time because it's already 30 minutes for discussion. I do believe that there are still many questions from the participants, but I do apologize that we couldn't cover and accommodate all the questions. For further discussion, you may directly contact to our invited speaker via email. Okay, I'm so sorry for Ms. Rini Sugiono. I do apologize because we ran out of time. You can directly have a discussion with Prof. Marcus later on. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, before we end our discussion, I'd like to conclude some key points. The first is that digital transformation is no longer optional, but foundational. The second one, leadership quality determines the success of digital and sustainable initiatives. The third point, communication is central to resilience and trust building. The fourth point, decision making under uncertainty requires structured intelligence. And the fifth point, universities play a strategic role in building future-ready societies. Okay, so thank you very much for the thoughtful questions and active participation. participation. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to once again express our sincere appreciation to Prof. Lily and Prof. Jessica and Prof. Marcus for the valuable and insightful presentation and responses. Hence, we would like to present certificates of appreciation for Prof. Lily, Prof. Jessica, and Prof. Marcus. Okay, the committee, please, could you please share screen the certificates for the presenters?
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much once again for all the invited speakers. And I think that's all from me as the moderator. It's truly an honor for me to lead the discussion that's very insightful and engaging today. Thank you very much and see you at the next virtual international conference on economics, law, and humanities. Mr. Diani, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Muhammad Rizky Adi Pratama, MPD, as the moderator for the first session, and also for all the speakers in the first plenary session. And for Mr. Rizky, Faculty of Economics, Law, and Humanities, Universitas Ngudi Waluyo, presents you with a token of appreciation in a form of certificate. Okay, thank you one more time, Mr. Rizky. And ladies and gentlemen, the next agenda is the second plenary session. And the moderator for this segment is Dr. Ratih Laili Nurjana, MPD. She is the head of English Literature Study Program, Faculty of Economics, Law, and Humanities, Universitas Ngudi Waluyo. She finished her doctoral studies of language education in Universitas Negeri Semarang, and her research topic was metacognitive strategies of English language teaching and learning. So without further ado, I would like to invite our moderator, Mrs. Rati, to take over the session.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Hardiani. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, the committee, the participants, the presenters, and of course, our wonderful, distinguished speakers. Allow me to lead this second session with our two speakers, Professor Elchin Gasimov from Moscow City University and Professor Hassan bin Muhammad Ali from University Kebangsaan of Malaysia. Good morning, professors. Good morning, professors.
Good morning.
Okay, hi, and good morning, Professor Hassan.
Good morning.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us here. Ladies and gentlemen, to initiate this session, I will introduce our first speaker, Professor Elchin Gasimov. He is a doctor of philology and the vice rector of Moscow City University with over 130 scientific publications in the fields of philology, linguistics, theory and methodology of language teaching, management, and educational administration. Focuses on the issues of intercultural cooperation, with the priority area include Indonesia, Malaysia, Taiwan, China, Korea, India, and other nations of Pacific region. On site, Professor Gasimov loves traveling, exploring the cultures of new countries, besides cooking, gardening, swimming, and I think there are a lot of activities there. So busy, Professor Gasimov. So many things to do. Huh? Okay.
Good morning. I try send my presentation. Just
Okay, yeah, thank you, Professor Gasimov.
I
Ladies
need
and
to.
gentlemen,
Yes.
with the next 20 minutes, we will be with Professor Gasimov with presenting his research on new realities of scientific collaboration, challenges and advantages, the role of humanities in preserving human values in smart city. Professor Gasimov, the time is yours.
Okay. Yeah. Mhm. To everybody, I'm very happy to be here today. Ladies and gentlemen, today we live in an area of rapid globalization when borders between countries gradually blur and scientific achievements become common heritage of humanity. International scientific cooperation serves as a crucial driver of progress, enabling us to overcome national borders and achieve breakthrough across various fields of knowledge. The history of international scientific collaboration spans hundreds of years. Already in the 19th century, science acquired a global character, uniting efforts of scientists from different countries. This trend was particularly evident in the 20th century, when scientific discoveries became the foundation for transforming the lives of millions of people and bringing them together into a new economic system. Particularly important stage included post-war reconstruction in Europe and Asia, including Africa, the launch of the first satellites and exploration of outer space, as well as the emergence of transnational corporations that further facilitated the convergence of scientific and industrial capacities of different countries. Current trends are characterized by several key features. You can see it on the slide. These factors create a unique environment for productive international cooperation, opening up new horizons for research and innovation. It's important to recognize the role of the humanities in the development of both individuals and societies. The reality today is that the humanities are often undervalued in a world dominated by technology and natural sciences. However, it's humanities that help us understand the world we live in and our place within it. They teach us to think critically, communicate effectively, and make informed decisions based on facts. The humanities encompass a wide range of disciplines, including history, philosophy, literature, art, linguistics, anthropology. Each discipline offers a unique perspective on the world and helps us comprehend the human experience. History teaches us about the past, the evolution of societies and cultures, the rise and fall of civilization. Philosophy encourages critical thinking, questioning, and seeing answers to fundamental questions about life, the universe, and our place in it. Literature helps us understand human emotion, relationships, and motivation. Art teaches us to appreciate beauty and self-expression. Linguistics illuminates the complexity of language and its influence of our thoughts. Anthropology reveals the diversity of human culture and society. Beyond providing insight into the world, the humanities host valuable skills. They train us to think critically, analyze information, communicate clear and based decision on evidence. These abilities are indispensable for success in any sphere of life, whether education, career, or personal relationships. In today's teach-dominated world, the humanities play a crucial role in upholding humanity. They remind us of the importance of values, ethics, and compassion. Nevertheless, it must be acknowledged that the task of integrating social humanitarian science into the global scientific discourse remains largely unresolved. In this regard, humanities scholars lag far behind their colleagues in the natural sciences. In the field of natural sciences, one can already speak of the formation of unified global scientific market with its own common standards, mechanism of operation, conceptual framework, principles of evaluating results, while in the social and humanitarian science there have been only initial attempts to move in this direction. Of course, the picture varies significantly across disciplines. Economics has a generally more international nature compared to political science, and social science outpace the humanities substantially. Of course, it's necessary to make a reservation about what is meant by scientific cooperation. If we talk about the formal mechanism of scientific cooperation, such as the number of international conferences, seminars, and symposiums, as well as a number of international internships and research trips, the emerging picture looks quite encouraging. However, when it comes to the result of joint scientific work, collective monographs, not be confused with the collection of reports presented at conferences, publication in reference periodicals, and joint analytical reports, or becomes more than ephemeral. It's enough to look at the citation index of Russian or some Asian countries or African countries, and South American scientists in leading Western journals to conclude that there is no need to talk about any large-scale integration yet. As interest in Russia decreases among Western European countries, a significant number of Russian social scientists and humanities scholars are automatically excluded from international scientific communication, which we have seen, unfortunately, in recent years. It seems that one of the problems facing social and humanitarian sciences at present is the lack of skills in planning and managing project activities. Its characteristic that during numerous competitions, experts usually note that the quality of individual application is higher than that of collective project. Building a large-scale project, especially interdisciplinary and geographically distributed, is indeed a complex task requiring specific skills, traditions, and a mobile professional community capable of attracting experts individually from various organizations. Managing a scientific project differs significantly from leading a department or sector within an academic institute. Apparently, preparing project managers should be considered as a standalone and very important area for developing social and humanitarian sciences. As no less important factor hindering international cooperation remains the problem of methodology and terminological apparatus. Unfortunately, questions concerning general methodological approaches to disciplinary research, let alone interdisciplinary research, rarely become subject of detailed discussion at international conferences. Many conference participants are often perceived primarily as holders of unique empirical material needing additional systematization and generalization. In no way pretending to propose optimal solutions to all the above mentioned problems, I would like to outline two contours of a possible model of international cooperation in the field of social and humanitarian sciences. Firstly, it should ensure transition from formal presentation algorithm of cooperation to substantive ones. Secondly, Its distinctive feature should be the combination of purely scientific dimension and training component. Participative cooperation should have the opportunity to observe Western and Asian standards of scientific work and gradually a shift from producing raw scientific materials to finished products. Thirdly, the model should assume a balance between the individual interests of individual researchers involved in the project and institutional interest of structure associated with these researchers, universities or academics, and it doesn't matter. Fourthly, mechanisms need to be found to obtain scientific knowledge into educational materials, since under modern conditions, fundamental science detached from the educational process cannot claim public recognition of serious findings. Fifthly, this model should not imply a sharp break with existing forms of international scientific cooperation. Instead, it should naturally extend and develop existing international links and thus be acceptable to all partners. Is it possible to fulfill all these quite complicated and contradictory conditions within one model? In our opinion, there are no fundamental obstacles to this. Also, in each specific case in phases might be placed on different combination of these conditions. An important issue today, for example, is the role of the humanities in preserving humanity in smart cities. The agenda concerning the transformation of the urban environment, filling it with contemporary information and technological solutions, has become highly relevant for urban thought over the past few decades. Since the new technological paradigm permits not only personal daily lives, but also many social institutions and public spaces, urban studies have developed the concept of a smart city, a city where smart devices are integrated into the urban landscape. The desire to make a city smarter, whether it's a large metropolis or a small historical town, generally welcomed. However, the very notion of smart city and the implied transformation of the urban environment associated with it are typically not critically examined because the digitization is assumed to be unconditionally beneficial for citizens. At the same time, widespread adoption of smart technologies leads to anthropological effects and cultural transformation, which turn out to be far from unequally positive. Within the framework of the semiotic approach, the city is regarded as discourse, which indeed constitutes language. The city speaks to its inhabitants. We speak the language of others simply by being present therein, living it, wandering through it, gazing upon it. Most researchers engaged in studying the topic emphasize the elusive, vague, and metaphorical nature of the term smart city. Within contemporary urban discourse, this term intertwines closely with new concepts such as digital city, electronic city, and intelligent city, innovative city, cyber city, and other popular theories that connect information, communication technology transformation with economic, political, social, economic, and cultural shifts. One could define a smart city as a place where diverse information communication technologies are integrated into the city's infrastructure with the goal of improving resident quality of life, optimizing the efficiency of managing municipal resources. Thus, we can conclude that the fabric of smart city consists of the social connections formed when smart technological solutions spread throughout the urban environment, encompassing these technologies themselves. The new urban technological framework undoubtedly affects the quality, style, and meaning of life in the city, changing people's relationship with the urban environment and making it more complex and dynamic. Urban space is not merely a system of materially functional objects, a landscape composed of buildings, squares, streets, parks, and other facilities. Rather, is a place filled with cultural meaning and values, constituting the life world of individuals and serving as a communicative environment where people interact. Historically, constructing a city was considered a sacred action. For instance, in Christian tradition, city building began with erecting a temple, a source of some city accessible to residents. Today, however, urban planning lacks this spiritual dimension. Instead, it's driven largely by commercial interest and desire to maximize profits from available land. As a consequence, modern cities often become devoid of personality, formal and cold-dominated by massive complexes where distant spaces and houses stretch endlessly with view details and almost not visible signs of human presence. At the same time, it's important to note an interesting axiological future characteristic of the concept of smart cities, such as ideal artificial city often creates a realization of rationalities. Utopia is deprived of history and semiotic reserves associated with cultural heritage, social memory, multifaceted national codes. Currently, smart systems are rarely employed to revitalize the historical legacy of cities. Also, their application has considerable potential in terms of reviving urban space and imbibe it with meaning and semantic resources. Additionally, the concept of smart city reinterprets the classic opposition between the urban as artificial and natural inherent. Large cities of the 19th, 20th centuries, characterized by exponential population growth, industrial revolution, increasing intensity of automobile traffic, were notable for air pollution, constant street noise, lack of green spaces, and represented a stark contrast to rural, natural, and organic environments. The city became an image of a completely man-made world, serving as more rational than the natural one, with rationality being seen as inherently anti-natural. Nature was pushed outside the boundaries of the urban environment. The enjoy nature, one had to leave the city behind. However, one of the key parameters of today's smart cities is their orientation towards eco-friendliness. Therefore, the attitude towards the natural change fundamentally. Smart cities revive the idea of the city garden, emphasizing not domination over nature and maximum exploitation of its resources, but rather that essential healing power of contact with nature and careful, emphatic treatment of it. And in conclusion, I would like to say smart technology affects ambitions, anthropological impacts on urban dwellers. On the one hand, they may serve as a stimulus for establishing new social connection, but on the other hand, they might become mechanism of social isolation. Similarly, they can act as instruments for integrating various strata of the population into the city fabric, yet simultaneously exacerbate class inequality and social differentiation. Furthermore, they deliver means for comfort provision while potentially triggering psychological crisis and deviation. In short, we must recognize both the dark and bright sides of implementing smart systems in urban environments if we want to obtain a complete picture of events unfolding for contemporary city dwellers. A semiotic analysis of the smart city narrative reveals its inherent utopianism and the axiomatically focused drive towards future technological perfection. Nevertheless, we shouldn't rely solely on smart system and panaceas for urban difficulties. Let the smart city concept turn into something akin to the famous Deus ex machina from ancient traditions, a divine entire law on the stage by cyclical machinery resolving problems instantaneously. Technologies are controlled by people, and it's precisely their involved and responsible attitude toward the urban environment, self-care within the city, and concern for the city itself as a place of self-realization, that renders urban space generally intelligence reflected, wisdom accumulated over many generations of city dwellers. And so thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for attention.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor.
Thank you very much. Yes, today in my speech I talk about the problems of the humanitarian sciences in the modern world, and the second part of my speech of course, explained about what is smart city in the semiotical and anthropological sphere, and I presented my vision about this problem. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Professor. Thank you very much. We try to summarize your presentation later. And ladies and gentlemen, let's proceed to our next speaker. There is Professor Hassani Muhammad Ali. Good morning, Professor Hassani.
Good morning.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Professor Hassani is a distinguished professor of corporate and insolvency law at the Faculty of Law, University Kebangsaan Malaysia. He holds a PhD from the University of Dundee in 2004 and LLM from the University of Sheffield in 1996. He has an administrative experience, including role as Deputy Dean and also the head of University Kebangsaan Malaysia's research group, Advanced Transportation Law and Sustainability Study. Right, and Professor Hassani, for the next 20 minutes, Professor Hassani will present about cross-border insolvency law, challenges and opportunities for ASEAN countries. Is that right, Professor Hassani?
Yes, that's correct. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Professor Hassani.
I'd like to share my screen first. Okay, very well. Good morning to all the participants in this prestigious conference of International Conference on Economics, Law and Humanities, Building Smart and Sustainable Communities in the Age of Disruption. Thank you, Dr. Ratih Laili Nurjana, for the invitation as a moderator. The Honorable all the dignitaries, Dean, Ibu Budiati, and all the organizing committee of this conference. I'm honored being one of the presenters, and what I'm going to share is something I got when I went through the discussion as an expert panel to this towards the shaping of the cross-border insolvency law in Malaysia for Malaysia. So as we know, the global reality is the business is global, but insolvency laws remain national. So my topic is a bit, I would say, specialized topics, and I'm afraid it's a bit technical, but please bear with me. The problem with the insolvency when companies, especially the corporation, cannot pay their debts is there are a few issues. They can invite a few problems, especially in relation to the conflict of laws, where different countries have different rules on what they get, especially among the creditors' priority. So this are something unavoidable. And should the company be rescued? Should the company be fully liquidated, or which transaction can be set aside? That is one of the problem. Apart from the local creditors may usually takes their leading role in grab role in order to get the best of their what they can grab out of the asset of the company left. And unfortunately, because of the multiple jurisdiction involved, they involve a lot of inefficiency and probably cost. And I'm going to try to scope within the ASEAN context because we know among ASEANs, even though don't really actually trade among each other that much, but actually we depend much on the same sources of FDI, normally from those economies, giant economies. And for that reason, one of or two goods will go through the chains of our region, and that may cause, if let's say, we are not hoping for business failures, but that is something which undeniably we can expect from time to time. So, as usual, when we are talking about cross-border issue, including cross-border insolvency, we are now dealing with the conflict of law, where cross-border insolvency will focus on choices of rules, jurisdiction, and enforcement of the judgment. And this is a problem when, let's say, what happened in Singapore, they have decided, but it involved the stakeholders or citizens from other countries like Indonesia or Malaysia. So are we bound by that? So for example, the petition has been made to the company where we are one of the stakeholders of the company and we are not from Singapore, for example. So that is the part of the jurisdictional conflict. And then, so for that reason, we probably would like to provide some kind of harmonization. And to that ends, there are many model approaches that we may actually apply. And the three main model actually applicable to this particular issue. I would say Ansitra model is one of the model in the world by the international organization, but theoretically they can be divided into universalist approach. The universalist approach actually taking into account the consideration of each of the disputing competing economics, as opposed to the territorial approach, which each country would like to stay in control over the jurisdiction, especially the subjects, including the foreign companies within their jurisdictions. And there could be modified universalism. This is something which we normally adopt. We normally try to adapt ourselves to the system which are not purely universalist. In this world, we know because each of the economies in the world, each of the economies in the world, actually they are quite competing to each other. And in the end, we know also they are not going to give up everything. They will retain much of their powers within their jurisdiction. So there must be some kind of compromise, give and take. In the end, we normally modified universalism is the one we normally adopt in the end. So there are two current regimes for international insolvency. So the Ansitra model, as I mentioned, this is the common one, and at least in Europe, they have another version which called EC Regulation on Insolvency Proceedings. So both regimes actually locate this COMI. COMI is one of the principles of how to resolve problematic issue relating to the multiple jurisdictions when insolvency occurs. And that is the center of debtor's main interest. COMI is center of main interest. So it depends on, for example, where it is registered or which assets particularly largely located, or maybe which particular mine and will where the directors are actually the resident or residing, where are they? Actually that determine much of the principles. So this is a hypothetical case why probably cross-border insolvency is very important, especially in our context in ASEAN. This is the company which we have headquarters in Singapore and manufacturing facilities for example, in Indonesia and Vietnam, sales office in Malaysia, registered intellectual property in Singapore, secured loan from banks in Singapore, unsecured creditors across all ASEAN, and asset distributed across multiple jurisdictions. So, for example, the company went into liquidation, so filed expansion into new market, significant debt accumulation, cash flow problem, and the ability to meet loan obligation. So this will make up one of the hypothetical cross-border insolvency scenario that we are now thinking. They involve multiple jurisdiction, multiple proceeding will, for example, Singapore creditors initiate insolvency proceedings, Indonesian secured creditors file assets to seize them in Jakarta, Thai creditors commence separate proceedings in Bangkok, and Malaysian employees file claim for unpaid wages. So there will be multiple proceedings referring to the same insolvency, which is actually the cross-border insolvency. So asset distribution challenge, Singapore headquarters hold valuable intellectual property. Indonesian facility contains most physical manufacturing assets. Cash reserves are primarily in Singapore and Thai banks, and accounts receivable spread across multiple jurisdictions. So Singapore will follow ASETRA model, which they adopt already. Indonesia applies its national bankruptcy law and very little recognition of foreign proceedings. Thailand has different priority rules, proprietary claims, and different standard for recognition of foreign judgment across jurisdictions. So the practical issue arise here is court-appointed administrators in different countries have conflicting mandates. So which one prevail? That is the questions. And the communication barriers between courts in different jurisdictions, especially probably some of these countries cannot really communicate because of the English language barrier, and inconsistent treatment of similarly situated creditors based on location, and potential for asset grabbing by local creditors before foreign proceedings are recognized. So now the question is, which country courts have primary jurisdictions? How should asset be distributed across multiple proceedings? Will courts in ASEAN country recognize and enforce orders from another? Would Malaysia actually follow Singapore? Would Indonesia actually recognize Singaporean courts decisions, for example? And how are employees in different countries are going to be protected? Can reorganization be coordinated across multiple jurisdictions? And this scenario highlights the complex interplay of different legal systems, the challenges of coordinating multiple proceedings, and the potential for inequitable outcomes when cross-border insolvency frameworks are not harmonized across ASEAN. So, what the UNSUTRA model actually offers, it offers some kind of certainty. So, along the discussion that this morning, we have seen the concept of VUCA. This is touched by Dr. Lily and also Prof. Marcos in their presentation. So this is one of them. So the law must be sufficiently clear to allow those subject to regulate their conducts and disparities in national law and inadequacy of international regime dealing with cross-border insolvency have created legal uncertainty. And the modern law aims to provide such certainty. So this is what possibly we can, out of this complexity, how we can actually achieve complexity as opposed to ambiguity, so, or uncertainty. So this is, we know there is this disrupted age of where we can see exponential rapid change in everything. So how are we going at least achieve something which provides help for the for the businessmen in conducting their business. So the ancestral model and the ancestral model actually uh, have the objective of first the cooperation between the courts. This is how they are going to resolve the issue by ensuring that among the courts they have such a protocol, clear protocol in order to resolve the issues when it involves cross-border, including insolvency cases. And a more significant legal certainty for trade and investment, this is good. The law should actually facilitate trades, and certainty is actually the goal. And a fair and efficient administration of cross-border insolvency that protect the interests of all creditors and other interested persons. We don't want that local creditors be taken priority unfairly over the other creditors, but especially international creditors. But at the same time, we do not want to jeopardize our own interests within our own jurisdictions. That is some reconciling act that we need to provide. So there are many countries we are already adopting. So these are some of their countries. Some fully adopt, some modified, and including Malaysia. What happened in Malaysia? We already passed through the legislature the Cross-Border Insolvency Acts, but the full adoption will be eventually pending until the assents by our ruler. So this is what so far we have seen, and there are some resistance, especially from many countries in what we say in Africa, African continents, in Middle East, and actually they are still probably wait and see. But surprisingly, from within the ASEAN context, Myanmar is one of the country which have already adopted. So that's quite. And the other country, Malaysia is going very soon, and then Singapore and the other countries still wait and see, and the Philippines also. All right. So one of the main strategy on how to resolve this issue is through this identifying the main and non-main proceedings, which constitute COMI, Center of Main Interest. So center of main interest is where normally will be determined according to the intensity of the trade at the particular jurisdictions, or probably because of the assets particularly located in that jurisdictions, or the directorship actually residents in the particular resident. There are multiple ways, and we can actually depend on the facts of the case. And the main proceeding may commence where the debtor has commercial establishment. This is the word used in the ancestral. And ensuring that states assist insolvency official from other countries with main proceeding and non-main proceedings. So, for example, when there are multiple jurisdictions involved, and we have identified, for example, Indonesia is one of the COMI, so the other are become the main proceedings. So the other jurisdiction become non-main proceedings. At least this help in terms of the eliminating preference, eliminating frictions, eliminating fragmentations. Everything can be harmonized. That is the principle behind this. And also within ASEAN, we can see that trade statistic actually is very significantly growing. And we can see from trade statistic, investment flow, business operation, and the world largest semiconductor MNCs all operate in ASEAN's many multiple member states, in many multiple member states, not excluding Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, and Thailand. So we
Excuse me,
are,
Mr. Rasani.
yes,
You
yes.
have 3 minutes left.
Okay, thank you. All right. So this is what we have already adopted. Malaysia, Indonesia not yet, Philippines partly, Thailand not adopted, and so Malaysia, will adopt with modifications. So Singapore is one of the only country which adopt fully the ancestral model. So in the end, what we can see, the flexibility and adaptations adaptable to national context. So we will give recognition to access, recognition, relief, and cooperation. This is the principles under the model law that eventually will benefit all the economies. So even without model law, we still can cooperate, but in the way of how cooperation may be more smoothly done could be through the understanding between the countries, more protocol, more recognition, more relief. So whether we like it or not, probably adoption of the model law probably is one of the answers. But in Malaysia, if I can share, we don't really adopt fully, but we retain our rights not to encroach our contrary to the public policy, and we prioritize micro predators, for example, our local farmers and so on. So that at least we have some safeguard in order to protect our interests. So this is a coordinated approach, how it may be much more beneficial for the partisan graph, where everything become coordinated, and because of the application of the model law. And so in the end, what we need to do is to make sure judicial, administrative, and professional are fully ready for the system to be, in the end, implemented. So critical success for each of this will depend on the political will, and then in the end, whether or not even if there are already model law in place, we still expect they're really fully informed and they are fully educated and they are well equipped with the necessary skills. So I think that would bring an end to my discussion. Thank you very much. So back to Dr. Ratih as a moderator. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Hassani. Well, I think we have many questions in our chat box, professors. And for the first questions coming from Ms. Rini Sugiono, addressed to Professor Kasimov. In what ways must attention when integrating information technology into humanities pedagogy and research? Professor Kasimov, are you here with us?
Okay, I'm here.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
The question, yes. In what ways must attention to essence integrate? In short, to maintain ethics, authenticity, and integrity when integrating information technologies into humanities education and research, it's necessary to first ensure confidentiality and data protection, use transparent method of evaluation and analysis, strictly adhere to copyright laws and combat plagiarism, regularly update digital educational resources, and enhance teachers' qualifications, continuously assess the effectiveness of new technologies and make necessary adjustments. It's my answers.
Okay, thank you, Professor Kasimo. Ms. Rini, I hope it answers your questions. Okay, thank you. And well, the news questions coming from Miss Christabella Gunawan, addressed to Professor Hassani. Professor Hassani, if someone is in a state of insolvency and has assets in Indonesia and Australia, is it possible that when there is a confiscation, the assets in Australia can be confiscated while the law in Australia doesn't recognize judgment? active national principles to Indonesian citizens or territorial principles that apply to assets in Australia?
Okay, thank you, Miss Christabella, for I think you are quite active participant. Okay, I would say every jurisdiction actually have some kind of international committee recognizing the fairness, the justice relating to insolvency, including personal insolvency cases or corporate insolvency. So, for example, if one particular state, one particular jurisdiction has actually pronounced, make decision relating to the confiscation of the property, probably the best is to allow the other country where the stakeholder might be also involved to respect, to recognize. So that is normally goes without saying, unless and until when there is a conflict of interest between the jurisdiction itself or maybe among the participant of the forum, insolvency forum. So they might actually challenge. And when it comes to that particular questions, where then we can question about the domicility and those things, probably is not in favor of what we like to see. And the problem is there's no kind of benchmark principles how to coordinate among them. So this is the problem, the challenge. But the recognition of the judgment is one of the committee principle in international law. We should actually recognize for the fairness of the parties involved. And that is basically goes without saying. That I hope that will answer the questions. And I think I would like to just add a little bit what I have presented. The problem is in Malaysia when we recognize corporate cross-border insolvency, that will only apply to corporation and not for individual insolvency, personal insolvency. So I think in Indonesia there's no clear demarcation as far as I'm concerned about personal and corporate insolvency. But actually that is the case. They shouldn't be demarcated because they are very related closely. Okay, so Dr. Ratih, I think there is another one more question here. Maybe I just I can just address it with your permission. Okay.
Yeah, please. It's okay, Professor
Okay.
Hassani.
It's about common law and civil law. They are different. Okay, this is the things. When it comes to corporate law, when it comes to corporate governance, as time goes by, we can see actually they become more and more universal. And so the way of how we understand the priority systems among the participants in the insolvency forum, they become more and more converging. The law is converging, and then it is possible. So the court in Indonesia and the court in Singapore, for example, they can provide a protocol. If let's say one country already recognize this, is how the other will follow. So I already put an idea about the main proceeding and non-main proceeding. So normally main proceeding will prevail, non-proceeding will follow the other whatever judgment or decision made. So that is the way of how it works. Provided, of course, before we shape the protocol put in place, there must be some kind of negotiation in order to make it more acceptable to both parties. Right. Thank you, Dr. Ratih.
Thank you, Professor Hassani. Wow. Okay. Professor Gasimov, I think I have a interesting question. Coming to our chat box, how do various humanities disciplines like ethics, cultural anthropology define the human values that smart city technology must preserve? And are these values universal or context dependent?
Thank you very much. This question, yes, the question about how different humanities define human values is important and multifaceted. Let's consider this issue in detail. First, ethics. Ethical theories offer diverse approaches to defining human values. For example, utilitarianism values are defined through maximizing happiness or benefit for greatest number of people. Duty, Kantian ethics. Value is determined by adherence to moral law regardless of consequences. Axiology, value theory, studies the nature and heritage of values, including aesthetic, moral, and spiritual values. Cultural anthropology. Anthropology study values within specific cultural contexts. They emphasize understanding cultural diversity and uniqueness. Key approaches include structural functionalism, considers values as elements of social structure performing essential societal functions. Symbolic interactionism focuses on meaning and symbols attributed to values by community members. There are two main perspectives of the nature of human values. Universalism, universal. Some philosophers and scientists argue that there exist universal values common to all humans, such as justice, freedom, dignity. This view is supported by concepts like human rights theory and UNESCO's Universal Declarations. Context dependency. Other researchers believe that values heavily depend on cultural, historical, and social context. Each culture forms its own unique representative of values, and imposing universal norms may lead to conflicts and misunderstanding. Is crucial and defining human values in the context of, for example, the say about smart cities requires a comprehensive approach considering both universal principles and cultural specificity. Different humanities disciplines contribute significantly to understanding and implementing these values, providing a foundation for sustainable urban development.
Okay, thank you, Professor Gasimov. Miss Maya Kurnia, I hope it answers your question. I think we still have more time to discuss some questions here addressed to Professor Hassani from one of our member, Hilda, one of our students. Is it possible for ASEAN to develop own regional insolvency framework instead of adopting the ancestral model law?
Yes, very, very much indeed. We can, just like EC, just like your EU has developed their own relating to cross-border insolvency, why not ASEAN also? And we have something in common. We are very much developing economy. We are very much depending on each other, but in a unique way. So probably a unique model also that respects our jurisdictions, respects our interests, but at the same time promote coordination among members. I think that's something that we can do. I fully agree with that idea because even Malaysia, when adopt this kind of Uzitra model, is just a benchmark, ultimate benchmark for universalist approach, which is not suitable, especially nowadays, where even the superpower, even the giant economy, they don't really adopt the liberalization. They don't really adopt open economy nowadays. Everybody has their own stake to protect. And we as a region, we should actually come together and we should think about our own way and our own coordination and cooperation among us. Yes, thank you.
So maybe later we can adopt our own law, Professor Hassani.
Yeah, yes, indeed.
It's addressed to Professor Kasimov from Ms. Endam Selawati. Does smart city really helpful for the society itself, since we can say that it is also dangerous for the environment?
Could you repeat the questions? Because
Does smart city really helpful for the society itself, since it is also dangerous for the environment?
Okay. Yes, smart cities come. Yes, smart cities come with pros and cons. These advantages include improved traffic flow, energy conservation, and enhanced safety. However, they also bring risks such increased electronic waste, threats to health from electromagnetic radiation, and loss of privacy. The success of smart city project relies on a balanced approach aimed at minimizing harm to the environment and ensuring transparency in decision-making process. For example, integrating but we need integrating smart city technologies into developing countries present several key challenges. This is financial constraints, technological infrastructure limitation, lack of technical expertise, regulatory framework, data privacy and security issues. Of course, we can talk about more and more and more, but I would like to say we have the positive, the advantage, again I say, the advantage include improved traffic flow, energy conservation, and safety. But unfortunately, they have them, it's normal, that also brings risks such as say increased electronic waste, threat to health from electromagnetic radiation. So our scientists and our government should work together to decide the problem, to solve the problem. But I think in the future, it will be more and more positive in our life.
Okay, thank you, Professor Kasimov. The next question, I think, still addressed to Professor Kasimov. How can the humanities help us deconstruct the narrative that technology equates to progress? And to what extent does the smart city concept risk marginalizing local values that cannot be measured digitally?
Okay, thank you very much again. The question, yes. How can they help the considerate their technology? Yes, humanities play a vital role in critically examining dominant narratives surrounding technology and progress. By questioning assumptions embedded in phrases like technology equals progress, we open pathways toward more nuanced understanding of the relationships between innovation and social change. For example, deconstructing narratives through humanities perspective, historical analysis, Examining past innovation reveals how initial enthusiasm for new technologies often overshadows long-term implications. Case studies highlight success alongside failures, encouraging caution before embracing unquestionably any form of technology advancement. Philosophy and ethical inquiry. Exploring philosophical tradition provides tools for assessing ethical dimensions of technological interventions. Questions arise concerning power dynamic, equity, inclusion, and sustainability. Cultural critics. Recognizing cultural diversity helps avoid blanket generalization about what constitutes progress. Local cultures shape perception differently, emphasizing distinct priorities beyond more technology efficiency. While smart cities promise efficient gains, they risk undermining intangible yet essential qualities tied closer to place-based identities. Loss of authenticity, over reliance on standardized algorithms diminishes unique characteristics shaping communities. Neglect of heritage, historic buildings, landmarks, and rituals low significance amidst rapid modernization efforts driven solely by quantifiable metrics. Combining insights gleaned from STEM disciplines with those derived from humanities offers possibilities for mitigating adverse effects. Engaging multidisciplinary collaboration ensures holistic assessment, balancing quantitative measurements with qualitative consideration root deeply in lived experience. Humanities serve not merely as critics, but active participants guiding conversation around responsible integration of emerging technologies into everyday lives. They remind us that true progress lies not just in a measurable output, but equally importantly in preserving cherished communal bonds noted historically across generation.
Okay, yeah. What an insightful answer, Professor Kasimov. So many things to discuss, but unfortunately, we have so little time. And unfortunately, Professor Kasimov, Professor Hassani, and all the participants, right? So I can summarize that from Professor Kasimov's presentation, we know that humanities holds crucial role to preserve human values, to anticipate the dual impacts of technologies, either social connection or isolation, either unites population or increase stratification. Well, from Professor Hassani, we can learn that the implementation of etc. requires careful consideration of national interest and institutional capacity. The economic and legal benefits significantly outweigh the challenges. I hope it can, summarize all the points that you have delivered, professors. Thank you for being a part of our conference today and making it more meaningful for everyone participating in this conference, professors. Before I end this session, please allow me to express our biggest gratitude to our distinguished speakers, Professor Kasimov of University of City of Moscow. Okay. All right, thank you very much, Professor Kasimov. And also thank you very much for Professor Hassani Muhammad Ali from University Kebangsaan of Malaysia. The last but not least, thank you for all of the this afternoon. And this is the end of our session. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Miss Rosdita, the time is yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ratih Laili Nurjana, MPDS. And also the active participation of the participants in our second plenary session. And for Mrs. Ratih as the moderator, Faculty of Economics, Law and Humanities, Universitas Ngudi Waluyo presents you with a token of appreciation in a form of certificate. Okay, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of the main session. And on behalf of the organizing committee, we would like to express our sincere gratitude to all speakers, moderators, and participants for your valuable contribution and active participation. And we kindly invite all participants to take a break, and the program will resume in 1 hour with the parallel session. Please make sure all presenters and also participants to rejoin us at 12:30, and please kindly check the program schedule and assign rooms for your respective parallel sessions. Thank you for your attention. We look forward to welcoming you back shortly.
Thank you, professors.
Thank you. And for the participants, don't forget to fill in the link of the attendance list if you want to get the certificate as the participants. Untuk para presenter, kita akan bergabung kembali di jam 12.30. Pastikan Anda sudah mengetahui pembagian breakout room-nya, gitu ya. Dan untuk partisipan yang ingin bergabung kembali di sesi paralel, dipersilahkan di jam 12.30. Terima kasih, selamat siang, kita bertemu 1 jam lagi.
Bukti komitmen kami dalam rangka mencetak generasi unggul yang berbudaya sehat dan memiliki daya saing global. Kami terus berinovasi dalam rangka melaksanakan tridharma perguruan tinggi, yaitu inovasi di bidang pendidikan, inovasi di bidang riset, dan tentunya tidak kalah penting adalah implementasi di bidang pengabdian kepada masyarakat.
Selamat datang di Universitas UNW, sebuah institusi pendidikan tinggi yang terakreditasi baik sekali. Di sini menjadi rumah bagi ribuan mahasiswa yang berkomitmen untuk belajar dan berkembang dalam berbagai bidang.
Universitas Ngudi Waluyo memiliki 3 fakultas unggulan, Fakultas Kesehatan, Fakultas Ekonomi, Hukum, menyediakan fasilitas modern untuk mendukung kegiatan belajar mengajar yang berkualitas.
Di fakultas ini, kami berfokus pada pengembangan teknologi dan pendidikan untuk mencetak lulusan yang siap bersaing di era digital. Yuk kita lihat. Universitas Ngudi Waluyo memiliki Fakultas Kesehatan yang didukung oleh berbagai fasilitas laboratorium untuk menunjang pembelajaran mahasiswa. Fakultas Kesehatan Universitas Ngudi Waluyo menyediakan pengalaman belajar yang optimal dalam bidang kesehatan. Selain itu, program studi ilmu keolahragaan juga kesehatan dan siap bersaksi.
Fakultas Ekonomi, Hukum, dan Humaniora menawarkan program studi yang membekali mahasiswa dengan keterampilan profesional dan wawasan global.
Universitas Ngudi memiliki visi menjadi kampus unggul, berbudaya sehat, dan bereputasi internasional. Saat ini kami mengelola 3 fakultas dan 1 program pasca sarjana. Jumlah keseluruhan program studi yang kami kelola saat ini ada 22 program studi. Dengan semangat berdikari, yaitu berbudaya sehat, berdisiplin tinggi, berkarakter unggul dan mandiri, Universitas Ngudi Waluyo siap mencetak lulusan yang tidak hanya berilmu, tapi juga berkarakter dan
Yuk, budaya reputasi internasional.